Well, well, well. It is a very big week for the Dallas Cowboys. Because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but the Cowboys have not been able to win back-to-back games. It's win one, lose one, win one, or I guess it was lose one, win one, lose one, win one, tie one, lose one, whatever the case may be. This game is important. And the Cowboys need to win it because the Arizona Cardinals should be a cakewalk for the Cowboys at home where they're putting up 40 points. If they can get this game against the Denver Broncos, this may absolutely propel them even more to go out there and make a trade. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Yep. Let's go. Let's go. It is time to talk Dallas Cowboys. Big game coming up. Big game. And I think we're going to win it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live, and we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up the rest of this season. Now let's talk facts. Man, this is going to be a great game against the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys better bring their oxygen, because I am telling you that high altitude up there in Denver, the best thing the Cowboys can do is get up on the Denver Broncos and cruise this game out and blow them out. But I got a strange feeling it's not going to be the case, even though I hope that it is. Let me tell you what today's show is going to be about. Today, got a pretty good show. We're going to start the show out with the Brian Broaddus preview. Brian Broaddus talks about the Cowboys versus the Broncos. Then we're going to talk about what's on X. Had some things on X yesterday that I didn't get to show yesterday because I didn't get a chance to do live. So we're going to show those quick hits from yesterday that we didn't get a chance to show from X. And then we are going to look at the big back discussion that Brian Schottenheimer commented on yesterday. We're going to comment on this big back discussion, and we're going to put it to rest. It's not as big of a discussion as people are trying to make it. And even though Brian made the comment, calm down, it's just not what we make things sometimes. It's like we make mountains into molehills. And then we're going to finish out the show with the game preview of the Cowboys going out to Denver. And let's see if we can come back with a victory, because I got a feeling that we are going to beat the brakes off of the Arizona Cardinals. So that is the show, and we're going to fit a whole lot of things into that game preview. We're actually going to fit in some player interviews, and it'll probably be Demarion Overshown and Javonte Williams, because those are the only two I'm interested in hearing, because I know Javonte Williams is trying to downplay the fact that he's going back to Denver. But I bet you this, I'll be shocked if he doesn't have 150 or close to 150, if not 200. He gonna get some yards on Denver. He gonna be running harder than I think we've seen him run this year. But again, that's gonna be the show for today. We're gonna start out with the Broaddus preview, what's on next, and the big back discussion. And then we're going to finish it with our game preview. So, let's get into this roll call. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Here we go. Let's go. Ron Hanna up in this thing. Ron Hanna, what's going on? Yeah, hey, this is a big game for the Cowboys. It's going to show us kind of where we are. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I'm going to tell you, It's a New Jack City. Dominique Pittman, what's going on? He said, I need to be on your intro. Yes, sir. He said, yo, G, bless him. What up, Lord Nova in this thing? What's up, my brother Roger? What's going on out there in the Flow Rider? What's going on with you? Jesus Baroto, what is going on with you? Good to see you up in here. Energy plug, you bringing that energy today. Let's go. John Henry, Bruce up in this thing. Derek Grimsley, Cowboy fans for life. Let's go. Dolores Ennis, what is going on with you? Good to see you. Gay Choice, Jakira back in this thing. She said Cowboys 40-36. Jakira, you're going to be shocked when you see what my prediction is. Lock and D, what's going on with you? Good to see you up in this thing today. What's going on, Lolly? Let's talk some Cowboys. Let's go. Lord Nova again up in this thing. Across 99th Street Productions. Here we go. Let's go. Kendall Pajero. What is going on with you? He said, love watching and listening to the great Cowboys talk. Defense needs to play like they did last week and they'll have a huge W. Yes, sir. D-Hawk06. What up with you? Martin Dillard. Good to see you. Cowboys hater. K3K. MacMan. Ken Ketz. What's going on? Katharina, my sister, what's going on? She said hit that like button. Katharina Kidd said 41-27. You're gonna be shocked when you see my score. Let's go. My sister Nisi, what's going on? Yes, looking forward to seeing what you got to say in the chat. Freddie Morales, El Chuka in the house. Bumpy TY5X866. What's going on with that Pimp C avatar? I love it. What's going on? Catelyn Clark in this thing. I'm sorry, Catelyn Lockhart in this thing. What's going on? DC4L Rasta Man. Geek 7144. Douglas Harrison. Devin Mills. Cowboy Fake Elbow. Let's go. That sax guy. Brian Worley. Let's go. DJ's dad. What's good with you? What's normal anymore? Yes, sir. Richard Baptiste. LaQueen. Hope all is well. What is going on, my sister? All right, let's get this thing going. We're going to have some fun today. Randy Will up in here. Let's go. Booby D in this thing. Got my back. What's up, Booby D? Good to see you. K Choice. Slayer. This was the Slayer NV. What's going on? It's the real estate vet. Philip Williams. Steve Campanella. Ronan the Voice. Raymond Estrada. What is going on? Let's get this thing going today. Hail Mary, yay Ma, what's going on? Michael Tyree up in this thing. Man, good to see y'all. Big Mouse Dog. Everybody is tuning in. Let's go. Rick924 Carol. More Eddie. Let's go. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. And so, let's go ahead and get into this thing. I know it is Thursday night football. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. We're going to try to get out of here right before Thursday night football begins. Let's start out again with none other than, hold on. Sorry I forgot to put on my Do Not Disturb. Let's get this thing going. Let's hear from Brian Brothers.
Pal Krusty's gonna teach you 5 new words.
You're not wrong about that.
From Dallas, Texas.
What up, Top Flight? Ronnie Dub, what up?
Thank you very much.
Angela Brewer, what's going on? Let's get this thing going.
Yesterday to Shell Shack, I had crab legs that were $50 a pound.
Oh, nice.
How many pounds
That's
you
the
get?
way to order.
Like 4 pounds?
I just said 1 pound of them, but they were really good. Shell Shack's got some really good food.
Yeah, they do.
They really
That
do.
shrimp is, I mean, man, the fried ones that you got there at the end there.
Dawson got a couple orders of
Yeah,
fried
that was
shrimp.
my second order of the day.
Football
Yeah.
fanatic, what's
Big
going on with
Stuck
you?
in there, didn't it, Dawson?
Cowboys for life, B2U.
I need a little pick me up here.
I mean, ever since
fried
They're going to
shrimp
make a
platter.
trade, Cowboys for life. I
Even
guarantee
after
they
the
make a
first
trade.
Full platter.
Yeah, good for you. That's got really good food. So
Yeah.
thanks to them for letting us hang
What
out
up,
with them
Gary
yesterday.
Thorcell?
What else too? Oh, I wanted to say something. I got some names for you guys too. I asked the gang of 7 for some linebacker names that are on the trade market.
Love this.
That we might not be talking about them,
Hell
but
yeah.
here's some names. I'm going to give you some of those. And then I also want to thank the folks that follow me on X. I asked them a question about negativity. If you like it when
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
and I had a ton of responses, and folks were, I think, pretty honest. Let me ask you this, Dawson, because you're kind of a media guy. Do you think the people? Do you think the people that don't like the negativity have already stopped following me or muted me? Am I getting answers from people?
Oh,
Because
man.
most of the answers were people were okay with the negativity. They don't want the race bait or any of that kind of stuff or anything like that. But they are talking about your team and stuff. But they feel like though that you if you're honest about it, like if you do the fair part of it. But most people also too are like, hey, listen, if it's bad, it's bad. Say it's bad. Don't sugarcoat it for me or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the people want, you just to evaluate what's happened and objectively say, is this good or bad, and why is it good or bad?
Yeah.
I think there's 5% that only want positive and 5% toxic people that just feed off the negativity, and they are often the loudest.
Yeah.
So I think we get a lot of feedback maybe when we're being negative after a loss, and some of those people are going to say, this is too much for me, I got to go. You know, there's no doubt ratings are the highest when we're going on a championship run or a deep playoff run.
Right.
Like, winning breeds more, but I think the thing that would lose people more than the negativity is being positive when they're terrible.
Right.
Would, because I think a lot of people want the explanation and the way out. How do we fix this?
Yeah.
What's broken?
I like what you.
Now, I think this is a very interesting discussion that they're having. And I kind of disagree from this perspective. You can explain what's wrong with, let me put it like this. It's all in how you explain it. It's all in how you explain it. You can be positive. You just got to make sure you explain it right. The problem is a lot of times when people are negative, it's how they're explaining it. They're explaining it in such a way that I'm gonna just tell you about some of these people who cover the Cowboys. You can, and I'm not gonna put a label on whether it be content creators, 3-4 letter networks, media members, regular fans. I'm not gonna put a label on it. I'm just gonna put it this simple. You can tell that some people who cover and talk about the Cowboys, you can hear in their voice when they're talking about the Cowboys bad, you can actually hear in their voice like it's like they're not sad about it. It's like they're enjoying the fact and they're getting into the fact that the Cowboys are losing. And you'll always notice they're always trying to turn you against the team or turn you against Jerry or boycott the team or do this and do that and all these extreme measures. I don't think anybody is concerned about people in one way or another. When you're talking about explaining, I think everybody wants the facts. I disagree when people say stuff like, yeah, man, some people want people to sugarcoat it. So they pride themselves on being negative. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think everybody wants to hear the facts. I think it's the way the facts are presented. People want to hear the facts in a way to where it doesn't sound like you literally hate the team that you are supposed to be covering. And then they pride themselves. I just laugh, man. I just watch all these people. Yeah, man, I'm keeping it real. And yeah, we keep it real over here. And okay, go ahead and keep on keeping it real. Go ahead and keep keeping it real. And it's amazing to me that there are content creators out there who are more popular and they are more popular than the people who are paid to cover the Cowboys. Yeah. People can tell me anything they want to about keeping it real. There are people who have literally made their careers off talking negative about the Cowboys. So, you know what? People can call it keeping it real if they want to, but man, you just explain the facts and you don't have to be doom and gloom. But, I never really took I never took Brian Broaddus necessarily as a negative, one of the negative ones, but all these other guys, shoot, man, let me tell you something. Before I started doing this channel, I had totally turned off 105.3 The Fan, because I'm telling you, 105.3 The Fan, some of the things they were doing was absolutely insanity. And I'm telling you, I still don't think there'll ever be a day that they'll get Dak Prescott on their radio station. I don't think they'll ever get Dak Prescott on there. After that smear campaign they put on Dak Prescott, I was done with him then. But I'm telling you, I don't think they'll ever get Dak on here. But again, you know, sometimes, I mean, people just, I don't understand people with all this. You know, everybody, again, everybody wants respect and nobody wants to give it. Everybody wants to be the go-to person for all the facts and all the perspectives. Because I always laugh when I hear people using other people's catchphrases and stuff and fighting these arguments that certain people be fighting. Y'all go ahead. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to report the facts. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to tell you it from the bad. I'll tell you from what happens if they do good and what happens if they do bad. But at the end of the day, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I want the fans to, even when we're losing, don't give in on your team and give up and start hating them, because then you're not going to enjoy watching the game. Understand, the Cowboys got an opportunity to win every time they step on the field. And if they do some things right, they'll win. If they do some things wrong, they won't. So it is what it is on this part. I hadn't even heard this, but I find it to be ironic they're talking about this, because I'm always hearing and seeing these Cowboy, these Cowboy people who cover the Cowboys, and they're always talking down on the Cowboys. And no matter how many good things they do, it's never enough.
You're saying there, I just was curious, because I'm always worried that, like, hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you what I see, but I'm also, if it's good, I also try and tell you that as well. And, you know, try and be fair about it. But the negativity part, I just wondered if people got turned off of how
Cowboy fans, Kivo, he said Jerry Jones is paying these folks to talk negative about the Cowboys. Well, I know how Jerry thinks. Jerry says ain't no such thing as bad publicity.
negative I could be sometimes about the team, you know, like, and I just was curious about that. So,
well, I think I'm more negative than you.
Negativity after a win.
Yeah, you are.
If that has anything to do with it. Like sometimes, like, it's a win, but then, like, the way sometimes, I guess, and maybe we talk about it or others, it kind of feels like a loss.
Yeah.
You know? That also could maybe upset people.
I appreciate everybody's response. Thank you very much for taking the time to do that. It means a lot.
I mean, you had so many replies to that. I had a blast.
Cowboys got to break this curse you're talking about.
I appreciate that. I just want, like I said, hey, I'm just trying to do better content, you know, and if it bothers you that I do something, I just want to know why. Like, I had questions I asked people about X's and O's and stuff.
Yeah, they turned me off bad,
Jaguar. Like that. And the guy was like, well, you know, the plays are too long.
RJ and Shane Morning Show, haters of that.
Too long. And I went, well, sometimes you have to get into detail why the play worked or didn't work. There's more to it, so you have to, it's not just, oh, the ball went to Pickens and he made a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
Oh, look what happened here. Tolbert ran a route. Look at the blitz pickup by Wood.
Yeah, Alicia, you're exactly right. Elberson Donaldson, what's going on? Alicia says, spot on, G. You can tell two words out who thrive on spreading negative on the boys. I want the facts, but no hate. And this is why you're not going to see me doing a lot of the, you know, and y'all forgive me if that's some of the stuff that you like, but I don't do a lot of hypotheticals on who the Cowboys should trade for, because to me, that's not found in any kind of fact. So I don't really follow teams. I don't follow other teams enough to be digging into who should the Cowboys go rob from their team. I don't really want to get into a lot of the hypotheticals. Only time I'll talk about stuff like Max Crosby is if Max Crosby name is specifically mentioned, and the Max Crosby talk was absolutely 100% true. The Cowboys were inquiring about Max Crosby, but one of the things I heard some people talking about it yesterday. The Cowboys are trying to not publicize every little move and every little thing they inquire about because they know how it affects how other people look at those players. And so the Cowboys have been trying their best to not do some of the things that they used to. So, but I'm not going to get into a lot of hypotheticals because I noticed that also carries a lot of unrest amongst the Dallas Cowboy fan base. I mean, I see people get Cowboy fans riled up over who we should trade for when the Cowboys, we haven't even heard these names come out of the Cowboys' mouth or even in the rumor mills. I'm like, I just don't do that type of stuff. It just doesn't do any good. All that stuff does is cause a lot of strife and a lot of argument, even when and I'm going to have this big back discussion here in a few. And, I put it on X and I don't know why people are just commenting all over it, talking about this big back discussion with Brian Schottenheimer. And I really do think that people may have taken Brian Schottenheimer the wrong way when he said he liked big backs. And we're going to have this discussion. I'm not going to take it too deep, but I put together a couple of things and I want us to look at a couple of things about this whole big back thing. But it's just certain discussions. It's like some of us just thrive on trying to show we're this, that, and the other, and we're this, and we're better than somebody else, and then trying to down somebody else, and then inside of all of that, talking bad about the Cowboys, and then getting the fan base riled up because the Cowboys won't do what a certain person in the community want them to do. It is not, you know what? I can suggest things for the Cowboys, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to start having people with rally cries trying to get behind me and saying negative things or saying things about the Cowboys because of stuff I want to do. Man, if I want to run a team, then let me go get a team. Now, I may make some suggestions, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be arguing with people over stuff that's not even happening in the first place. It's just why? Why? It don't make sense. But again, very interesting that they're talking about this whole thing with negativity. I never took Broadus like that, but these other ones, shoo. Yeah, some of these other ones, yeah, they negative.
They tried to play off this safety here. So it gets a little wordy, it gets a little long when you're breaking down the play, but you're trying to explain in detail what you think happened on the play.
Football fanatic, so I think we're going to beat the Broncos too.
And the guy's like, oh, hey, I understand. But he was like, I need 7 plays, but shorter. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you 4 plays, but I'll explain them in great detail. Anyway, thanks to everybody who hangs out with us on that.
Well, no, I appreciate the breakdown what's happening away from the ball. It was Pat Kerwin who wrote this book, Take Your Eye Off the Ball.
Yeah.
And I read that 10 years ago, and ever since then, you look at football so much differently.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely. Pat's really good at what he does too. He was
like these last 2 comments that you guys just made. Quentin Scott, he said, we should be positive and confident regarding the Dallas Cowboys. As fans, we stick together, support our team. Stop being divisive by talking negative things and thoughts. It's about wait and see. Yeah, see, it's okay to, say, oh, hey, the Cowboys going to win. Okay, but we're also going to say the Cowboys might not win. This is why you'll always notice. I always give 2 predictions. If the Cowboys do good, if the Cowboys do bad. I come back after the game and I say, was I a prophet? Was I right about what the Cowboys should do? Did the Cowboys do what I said they should do to win? I do that because at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I'm not going to go so far with it to where I get so dogmatic that I'm arguing with people and then going on social media and trying to disparage someone by name and trying to tell people not to listen to. I've literally had people do that to me. I don't even worry about it. But people take this that far because, like it's some kind of competition. It's not a competition for me. I just love the Cowboys. Just love the Dallas Cowboys. Loved connecting with the Dallas Cowboys fans, community, and just love putting truth out there And, and also want to make sure I put love and God out there and all these different things to whatever I do. But Devin Mills, exactly right. We all have opinions. But with some of these people, it gets out of hand. And that's why I said I never really took Brian Broaddus as one of these guys, but I don't know. Maybe he's been getting some of that. DC Stones, he said, creators are like those friends when you tell them you're getting a call. If you like that BMW, go get it. But don't spend my money. The front office knows what they want and don't. Yes, sir. DC, that's why I don't really get so deep into what the Cowboys should do. I don't want to get too deep into it. This is why my whole thing with Jaden Blue. They drafted him. He's not a undrafted free agent. They didn't get him off the practice squad. They drafted him. And I don't believe for a second that he's not a part of the plan going forward. I think they're going to work him. I think they're going to work him in slowly. But we got people who are out there just saying crazy stuff about him. Yeah, man, he's not a big back and he's not good. And man, come on. This dude done played 3 professional games. They gave him 3 carries and 4 carries, and then they gave him 7. And he was 7 for 28, 4.1 yards per carry. And he had 1 big run called back, which he probably would have had somewhere around 30-plus yards on about 8 carries, if not 40-something yards on 8 carries. And if you're going to tell me that 4.1 yards per carry is bad? What? Jaden Blue has some potential. No, nobody wants him to replace Javonte Williams with Jaden Blue. Nobody's even asking for a 50-50, 60-40 split. Use the guy, man. Use him in the passing game. Use him the way Texas did. Use him as a change of pace back. But let's stop acting like the kid can't play. Stop it. I'm not going with it. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, let's see if Broaddus can get into this, because he says he's going to give us the preview of Bo Nix, but right now it's like he's trying to see if anybody hates him. Let's see if he can get into this thing, because I hadn't listened to it.
With the Jets when I was in Green Bay and stuff, so I really like Pat a lot. All right, some names just in case, and then we'll get into the Broncos here. Logan Wilson. These are linebackers. Logan Wilson.
Cincinnati.
Quincy Williams.
Jets.
Christian Harris.
Yeah, Texans.
Texans, yeah. And, okay, we brought up EJ Speed.
Too Tall Jones,
Christian
what
Harris
up?
Is an interesting one.
Christian, this
run
is
stuffer guy.
Yeah, these are names that my guys of Ganger 7 are saying are being shopped right now. And then Marte Mapu.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a safety, right?
Was a safety, converted to linebacker, which, I mean, when you watch him at Sacramento State, he's with New England now.
Now, Brian is talking about linebackers. I don't think that's the Cowboys' priority. I think the Cowboys' priority is edge, cornerback, and then linebacker. I think that's probably the order that the Cowboys would go. Because as the linebacker position goes, the Cowboys are getting DeMarion over Schoenbach. I think they like Murray Jr. because he's getting paid. They're paying him. So they like Shamar James. They like Maurice Leofau. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do anything as it pertains to linebacker. I really don't. I think where the Cowboys are trying to get, what they're trying to do is, because I really think the Cowboys wanted Max Crosby. I'm telling you, I think the Cowboys really wanted Max Crosby. When you think about what Max Crosby brings to the table, he would have been a dream pickup for the Cowboys. And I'm still not going to throw in the towel. I'm still not going to throw in the towel on Max Crosby until November the 5th. I'm not throwing in the towel on Max Crosby. I think the Cowboys really want Max Crosby. If you gave me a choice between Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson, I'm taking Max Crosby 10 times out of 10. Max Crosby is a whole different animal when you're talking about defensive end. And I'm telling you now, I believe where Max Crosby is probably kind of tripping because he got paid first, and then he looked at what these other guys got paid, and Max Crosby is probably saying, man, I'm just as good as those guys and might be even better than a couple of them. Man, I'm telling you, y'all tell me what y'all think. I'd take Max Crosby over TJ Watt. Now, Myles Garrett. Now, I'm not going over Myles Garrett. But TJ Watt, shoot, I'd take Crosby over Watt. I would take Crosby over I would take Crosby over him. I would take him over Watt. I'm definitely taking Crosby every single day. I'm taking him over Trey Hendrickson. The Cowboys really wanted him. They did. The Cowboys really wanted Max Crosby. I'm telling you, they did. And again, we're going to see. Because I'm telling you, everybody got a price. I'm not believing for a second that the Las Vegas Raiders are not trading Max Crosby. I'm just telling you what I think the Raiders are saying. I think the Raiders are saying, hey, Cowboys, we know y'all name is circulating, and we know Max Crosby would love to come to Dallas and play. Yeah, we're not going to deal Max Crosby unless you talking about giving up 2 of them first-round draft picks. And I think the Cowboys are saying no way, no how. But I'll tell you what I would do if I were the Cowboys. And I don't think they should give up 2 number 2s. Unless you tell me they could give up 2 number 2s, get Max Crosby, and in return get a 2 and a 3. Sure, I'd do it. I'll give you Green Bay's 1. I'll give you Green Bay's 1 this year. I'll give you Green Bay's 1 next year. But I'm going to tell you what I need in return. I'm going to need your 2 next year. I'm going to need your 2 next year because I'm pretty sure the Raiders 2 is going to be pretty high up there. I need your 2 next year. I need your 3 the year after that. Because if the Cowboys get Max Crosby, it solves a problem of, I'm not looking at Max Crosby just from the standpoint of pass rushing. No, he's an absolute monster with a very high motor. He will be good in the run game, the passing game, the locker room, the mentality. That's why I want Max Crosby. And I think that's the reason why the Cowboys want Max Crosby too. We're going to see. Because I don't think the Raiders are saying we're not going to trade him. No, I think the Raiders are saying, yeah, we ain't trading him unless you come knocking with something real good. From the Cowboys, hey, 2 number 2s, Sam Williams. Maybe y'all can do something with Sam Williams. We'll give y'all Sam Williams and we'll throw in Mozzie Smith. Maybe y'all can do something with him. Sam Williams, Mozzie Smith, 2 number 1s, you're going to give us a 2 and a 3. So next year, rather than having 2 number 1s, we'd have 2 number 2s. With Max Crosby, you think about those 2 number 1s. Those 2 number 1s are a gamble. Do you hit on both of them? But if you bring in Max Crosby and you bring in 2 more picks, you still got draft capital. DC Stones, he said, gee, it's not about compensation with Crosby. It's too much dead money for the Raiders due to the extension being new. Yeah, the dead cap would cripple Las Vegas. Yeah, I saw that. Cowboys for life, he said, gee, and all this baloney about Max Crosby doesn't want to play in Dallas. They need to stop this. Max Crosby would love to play in Dallas. No doubt about it. I think he wants to play in Dallas. And so I don't think the Raiders are saying, yeah, we're not trading him. No, they saying, you're going to have to come with something. No, you're going to come with something, Dallas. Because, as just mentioned about the dead money. Okay, well, but if you can get 2 number 1s and you can get some players in on rookie contracts, That's how you can make up for that dead money. I don't think it's the fact that the Raiders aren't trading Max Crosby. When I hear teams say they're not trading a player, what they're saying is we're not trading that player for a little bit of nothing. No, you better come with some numbers. You better come with some commas. I think that's exactly what they're saying. Ronnie Dub, what's up in the crib? Ronnie Dub said, G, do you think our defensive backs will be okay with a great edge? I think our defensive backs are going to get better as the season goes on. I think with Kyrie Elam, not Kyrie Elam. Bland in man is going to be better. Triquez looked really good this week. I want to see if he can stack on another game. Reddy, I don't even think he played. I think they said Reddy didn't even play last week. But I like the way Reddy's looked. Elam obviously looked decent last week. Savon Revel Jr. will be hitting that 21-day window, I think, pretty soon. Josh Butler will be coming back pretty soon. I do think the edges would help the Cowboys cornerbacks. But I also think the Cowboys cornerbacks could help themselves if they could start doing a little bit more jamming at the line, giving the edge rushers just one more step to advance towards the quarterback, and then they could help each other out. Kind of like what Nate Newton is talking about. But I think either way it goes, I think everything, the front helps the back and the back helps the front, if that makes sense. And I think Jadeveon Clowney is going to continue to turn up for the Cowboys too. He was a lot more active last week. I think he'll be more active this week. Bruce, what's going on? He said after Jerry took the team to kneel in prayer at the 50 instead of kneeling in protest, the corporate media turned negative, led by Stephen A. Smith. Yep, I can see that too. Yep, I remember that. All right, let's listen to a little bit more Brian Broaddus. He's not really hitting us with anything. You know, he hit us with the linebacker stuff. I don't think the Cowboys are looking for a linebacker. I don't think they're looking for a linebacker, so.
He played like a linebacker. He was a big thumper at kind of, like he's not Darren Woodson, right? But Darren Woodson made that, from linebacker to safety. But he is the opposite of that. 6'3", 230, big hitter guy, was a box safety, now playing at linebacker.
Mar, we're going to look at that box score by the New York Giants.
Coverage linebacker.
Sure. You like the speed of this guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's for a thumper guy, he
moved well.
He covered some ground. Yeah. Once again, Logan Wilson, Quincy Williams, Christian Harris, Marte Mapu were the names I've heard around the league. All right, here we go. Denver Broncos. What you need to know about the Denver Broncos. This team is
Lock and D. Lock and D. Lock and D. Jerry gonna end up calling the Raiders. I have hope. Lock and D. Jerry can tell me anything he want to. I think what the Cowboys are doing a very good job of this year is that they're trying to keep things closer to the vest. They're trying to keep things closer to the vest. Man, the Cowboys mess around, win the next two games, they're going to do something. There is no doubt in I think they're going to do something regardless. But I think if they win the next two games, I think they'll do something more. I think they'll do something more. Too Tall Jones, we got Childress back on the practice squad. Yes, sir. That's a part of my quick hits of what's on X. Yes, the Houston Texans wound up cutting Zion or releasing him from the practice squad. They had no reason to keep him. The Houston Texans, ever since they crowned C.J. Stroud better than Dak Prescott, they've been absolutely putrid. The Houston Texans, man, They are on a downward spiral. They are on a downward spiral. Hallelujah. What's up? Daniel Liam, he said the Raiders aren't going to take 2 seconds and Sam Williams for Max Crosby. No, I said give him the 2. Give him the ones. Daniel M., give him those ones. Just make sure you get a 2 and a 3 back. Make sure you get a 2 and a 3, or maybe even 2 2s. Give him the ones. Get 2 2s. Get Max Crosby. Give him Sam Williams. Give him Mozzie Smith. Create a package for him. It's hard for the Cowboys to create a package. It's hard for the Cowboys to create a package. Lock and D, I've been thinking the same thing. Trayvon Diggs, I've been thinking the same thing about Trayvon Diggs. What did I tell y'all about the Trayvon Diggs situation? I said the Trayvon Diggs situation is either going to be a dud or a bombshell. It's still ticking. We're still waiting. We're still waiting to see how does it explode. But it's either going to be a dud or a megaton bomb.
It's kind of unusual in a way that they don't motion very much, and you would not think that of a Sean Payton-led team. Only the Titans and the Giants motion less than the Broncos currently. And I think if you look at the two teams they motion, that the Broncos are behind the Broncos, or ahead of the Broncos, Tennessee rookie quarterback, Giants rookie quarterback. And then you got a second-year quarterback here with Denver. Okay,
so now Brian Broaddus is talking about the Broncos. Now, we'll talk about this more in our game preview. But Cowboys are going to have a problem defensively. They're going to have a problem with the Denver Broncos sending players in motion. Because Brian Schottenheimer didn't tell anybody nothing new. Brian Schottenheimer didn't tell anybody nothing new who's been watching film on the Cowboys. He didn't tell them nothing new. But Brian Schottenheimer said the problem for the Cowboys defense comes when teams start shifting and going in motion. Well, what do you think Sean Payton's going to do? Sean Payton will be in motion a ton this game. You watch what I tell you. He will be in motion a ton this game because he know it's been giving the Dallas Cowboys fits. This is how people keep running wide open. We showed this that week they played the Giants. He got this thing. The Giants had players running wide open, and we saw Carolina do some of the same things the New York Giants did. We saw Chicago do some of the same things the New York Giants did. They ran wide open on the Cowboys. One of the things that throws them is when they put somebody in motion and they overload one side and the Cowboys don't have an answer.
So this might help the Cowboys when it comes to communication, that all of a sudden there's not a lot of moving, not a lot of shifting, switching like
there will be.
It becomes from this coverage to this coverage because of maybe a guy coming in motion and stuff. So that's something that they've had a little bit motion the last couple of weeks, but overall they're near the bottom.
That's strange to me because with a rookie quarterback, wouldn't you want more information?
I think they're worried about him short.
Bo Nix has been struggling. Bo Nix is doing what every time they crown these doggone rookie quarterbacks that they're going to the Hall of Fame, come out in that second year, they don't look the same.
Circuiting with all the guys moving around.
Yeah, and I think it's because of the Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think to me it's just try and keep everybody in place. Like, okay, let me read this one time and not have to read it again.
Star Guardian X said, would be crazy if we win this game. Star Guardian X. I believe the Cowboys are going to win this game. And I'm telling you, I'm not a gambler. But I'm telling you who I'm pushing all of my chips to the center of the table on. Javonte Williams. I'm pushing all my chips to the center of the table, Star Guardian X, on Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is going to run his butt off against the Eagles. The Eagles. He's going to run his butt off against the Broncos. You watch what I tell you. He going to downplay it. He going to run his butt off against the Broncos. You watch what I tell you.
And so that would be I maybe ask Sean afterwards why he does that. I don't think he'd tell me now.
It's game week. He doesn't want to talk to you.
He didn't want to do this. This team, I think with the offensive line the way it is, I think it's a pretty decent offensive line. I think to me though that Mike McGlinchey, the right tackle, is going to be the guy you want to go after in this one. He's had struggles. This offensive line did have some struggle against the Giants, but we've seen firsthand what the Giants can do to you with their pass rush.
Yeah. Talented front seven.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of thinking about off the right side is where I would attack this group because I think that's where the most pressures can come from. With like McGlinchey was with the 49ers, Micah Parsons used to give him fits. And I still think there's some of the same issues that he had with the 49ers. He's kind of a tall guy. He doesn't play with a lot of power. He does move very, very well. You'll see this team get the ball. Sean's going to look at Carolina's game plan, and what they'll do is they'll double the three. They'll do that power gap scheme stuff where they'll double the defensive tackles, and then have the tight end and the tackles block. This team plays with a traditional fullback. You don't see that very much in the league.
See, a lot of people don't realize how the Carolina Panthers actually misused and abused the Cowboys. One of the ways they misused and abused the Cowboys, and I mentioned this, and I'm glad Brian brought it up because you didn't really hear a lot of people talking about it, but they used and abused the Cowboys. Where they used and abused the Cowboys were they were double teaming the tackles. See, a lot of people think we don't have players that are worthy of being doubled, but we do have players worthy of being doubled. In particular, when you think about Kenny Clark and also Diggy Zua. And so they were doing some doubling inside. And so that's how they were able to do some of the things that they were able to do. And so the Denver Broncos, we're going to look at that when we look at our game preview, but the Denver Broncos are definitely a running team. And especially because this doggone Bo Nix, man, he has been struggling. Now, unfortunately, we've seen some of these people who are supposed to be struggling come up against the Dallas Cowboys. And, we saw Caleb Williams, he came out and balled. Russell Wilson balled against us and then got just embarrassed against the Kansas City Chiefs, and now he's sitting on the bench. So we've seen the Cowboys make some of these quarterbacks look very, very good, but Bo Nix has been struggling. If Matt Eberflus can be successful at doing some of the same things he did last week, I think the Cowboys are going to be able to really do something. Now, keep in mind this week, the Cowboys will nowhere near run as much man-to-man as they ran last week because this game doesn't dictate that. The Denver Broncos won't be missing their first, second, and third wide receiver. No, they're going to have their starting wide receivers out there. So the Cowboys are going to really have to be careful. They're going to have to really be careful. And they're going to have to really pick and choose how they run. They're going to really, really have to pick and choose when they run man-to-man. Now, again, y'all already know what I'll tell you. Now, don't go out like no sucker. I mean, if you're going to go out swinging. So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm gonna take me some chances against the Denver Broncos. And I really do think you're going to have to, because I do think Sean Payton is going to come out with some great plays against Cowboys, even though Bo Nix has been struggling.
League. So you're going to get some 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end. But where they have problems running the football is they're near the bottom of the league when you stack the box against them. So when you play with more than 7 defenders, this gives this team a lot of problems. They're near the bottom. They're 28th in the division, 28th in the National Football League when it comes to playing against stacked box. So how does Dallas figure out? Dallas played some 9-man box the other day against the Commanders by getting the corner involved and then also having the safety come down. You might want to consider doing that against this guy. This quarterback, Bo Nix, they'll have to go back to some of their zone concepts because he's going to struggle with the zone concepts. The man coverage stuff, not a whole lot better, but better to the point where it would say, man, if you play zone against him, make him read. He's going to want to run too, by the way, guys. He's going to want to drop back. And if he doesn't see it initially, he's going to take off running. So you got to deal with another one of those guys. J.K. Dobbins, the back, I think is a physical back. He'll finish. He's got some toughness, very similar to the type of back that you have. I would worry about Cortland Sutton because of his length and the way that he's able to go get that football. Marvin Mims is a kind of throw it to him in space and let him run guy. You're going to get the jet sweeps, things like that. They want to get Pat Bryant. He's from Illinois, the wide receiver. He was picked in the 3rd round. They want to get him more involved in the offense. So right now, like I say, against these guys, play some zone coverage, look at some stack box situations to maybe help you with the run, and then be very mindful. You're probably not going to get a whole lot of motion, so that will help your communication and keep you in place for this week.
How many points do you think the Broncos are going to score on the Cowboys after reviewing their tape?
I'll tell you what, I think what it's going to come down to is that quarterback in the running aspect of things. I don't know if he could beat you throwing the ball. I think he could beat you running with the ball. And I mean running with, like, if it's a close game and all of a sudden it's they're getting the field goal range to win the game. He'll run for 20-something yards and break your heart that way. I think that with him, and I need to look at their defense, but I think if you can score 27 points, you might be pretty good in this one.
Yeah. Like some of the things that Brian Broader said there. Man, I'm telling y'all, the Cowboys are going to have a better chance of winning this game than a lot of people think. They really are. The Cowboys have a great opportunity to beat the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are not unbeatable by far. And so the Cowboys will be able to do some things against them. Okay, let's go a quick spin that I had some things over on X that I wanted to mention yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to do a live stream. But let's cover some things. What's on X? We're going to turn this into a whole feature in the future. But one of the things that transpired over on X is all of a sudden Stephen A. Smith is on the Cowboys bandwagon. And Stephen A. Smith, and I'm pretty sure some of you have seen this, Stephen A. Smith had this to say yesterday about the Dallas Cowboys.
Dak Prescott.
MVP.
He's going to be a top 2 candidate for MVP honors. He is right now. Okay?
Yes, he is, yeah.
And I'm looking at Dallas, all seriousness.
You late to the party, Stephen A. Smith. You're late to the party, but hey, we don't need you on the bandwagon, but you late to the party, bro. You are late to the party. We've been knowing that Dak Prescott is an MVP quarterback. He got robbed in 2023. And you were one of the main people trying to rob him. Yeah, if Dak don't win this game, he don't win the MVP. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott wasn't even the reason why they lost against the Miami Dolphins. Schoonmaker was 1 inch away, but nevertheless, they took that away from Dak Prescott. And now you're saying he's going to be in the top 2. No, he's going to be number 1. No, Dak Prescott, as he keeps playing the way he's playing, there is no competition. As Rakim said of Eric B. and Rakim, competition is none. If Dak Prescott continues to play the way he's playing, nobody wins the MVP but Dak Prescott. Might even win Comeback Player of the Year, too.
All joking aside, Denver's going to be tough. That's going to tell me something about Dallas.
Now, that part is true.
I expect them to beat Arizona at home.
Yep.
You got a bye week and then another bye week with a road game against the Raiders.
Yep.
Because they trash.
Yep.
Okay?
And we might hear Max Crosby when we see him.
Then you got Philly, Kansas City, and Detroit.
We're beating Philly. Kansas City and Detroit are going to be the 2 tough games.
Yep. That's going to tell me something. That 3-game stretch is going to tell me what I should feel about the Cowboys. Are you sitting down? Sitting down?
He's going to say yes, huh?
You finna say yes?
Dallas Cowboys going to the playoffs.
There you go. There you go. He's trying to set him up for the fall.
Stephen A. Smith, you are late to the party. Many of us have already been talking about the Dallas Cowboys going to the playoffs. I already created this scenario. Did I not create this scenario, guys, just a couple of days ago? Duh. We already know we got Stephen A. Smith. Y'all late to the bandwagon. The Cowboys have a great opportunity. Cowboys beat the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to destroy the Arizona Cardinals in Dallas. The Cowboys will get a bye week. We could still, there's a chance, until November the 5th. November the 4th, I forgot the exact cutoff time, but nevertheless, I'm not giving up until November the 5th. The Cowboys will beat the Raiders. The Raiders are terrible. The Raiders are on the verge of losing man, when Ashton Genty comes out and say that they have a losing culture, you better believe them boys on a downward spiral. The boys going to beat them. And the Eagles are not beating the Cowboys twice in one season. Book it. The Cowboys literally have an opportunity at a 5-game win streak, and then in front of the world on Thanksgiving, we're going to give Kansas City all they can handle. Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes are going to have one of the all-time shootouts, only for the Cowboys to come back the following game, and they're going to have another all-time shootout between Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. I believe they're going to beat the Vikings, beat the Chargers, beat the Commanders, and then the Cowboys, we'll see what that game means between the Cowboys and the Giants. We'll see if the Cowboys even need that game. But I'm telling us, man, the Cowboys have a great opportunity. Stephen A., you ain't telling us nothing new. You trying to tell us, I mean, you Captain Obvious right now. You telling us something we already know, Cowboy fans. Cowboys have a great opportunity when everybody said that this schedule was so hard that the Cowboys don't have a shot in y'all know where, and the Cowboys absolutely have a shot.
Playoffs are good.
Dallas Cowboys going to playoffs.
No doubt.
Dak Prescott.
MVP.
He's going to be a top 2 candidate for MVP honors.
He going to win.
He is right now. Okay?
Yes, he is, yeah.
And I'm looking at Dallas.
I think Dak Prescott is going to win the MVP. Stephen A., you ain't telling us nothing we didn't already know, my brother. Also, too, y'all know about this. What's on X? Look at this. You want to talk about a sight for sore eyes. Demarion Overshown is back in practice for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, man. He's trying to make his debut against the Raiders. Say the Cowboys need to be really careful with this. I may try to save him for Thanksgiving, but I'm sure he's going to be begging them to play in the Raiders game. So if I'm the Cowboys, I say, just tread lightly. Tread lightly with Demarion Overshown. Let's tread lightly. But Demarion Overshown is back on the practice field for the Cowboys. Also, what's on X? Look who else is back. Josh Butler. Josh Butler getting work on the course today. He's getting close to being cleared from his torn ACL. He suffered on Thanksgiving last year. So he may make his debut on Thanksgiving. Josh Butler was playing extremely well when he got hurt. Hoodie Kush in the building. What up, Hoodie Kush? All right. So also, as mentioned earlier, look who else is back in the building. Zion Childress. Back to the practice squad after he was waived by the Houston Texans on Monday. Cleared waivers. As a corresponding move, wide receiver Jalen Brooks has been moved to the practice squad injured. Cowboys stashing Jalen Brooks. Yep. Zion Childress. And then finally, for what's on X, man, we're going to get us some fancy X music for this. I would do the X-Files music, but they copyrighted me last time I used it. Look who back. Cooper to the BBB. 21-day window opened up for Cooper BB, and Cooper BB is saying that he has hopes that he is going to play this week. And that is what's on X. All right. So let's put together another little discussion that I decided to have today. I want to have the big back discussion. I want to have the big back discussion. Brian Schottenheimer made a comment yesterday, and people are running with it. And I've noticed this about the Cowboys. We get storylines. We create controversy behind these we create controversy behind these storylines, and we just run and run and we run and we run with it. I don't really think it's that big of a deal what he said, because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a few things about this whole big back discussion that they were asking him yesterday, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard it by now. This whole thing about this big back discussion. Let me see if I can find it. All right, and also today we're gonna fit in. I didn't know if Matt was gonna get it in. We're actually going to listen to Matt Eberflus after we have our big back discussion, and then we're going to give our preview. I'm glad Matt Eberflus is speaking this week. Looks like we got Dak Prescott spoke today. We got CeeDee Lamb spoke today. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we got some stuff coming in. We can talk about some more stuff on the Cowboys. Y'all know what time it is. We're going to talk Cowboys. We will listen to Matt Eberflus, but I want to go back. Brian Schottenheimer made a comment, and I hope I can find the exact spot. Sorry, I don't have it queued up. Let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to follow up with. Yeah,
here we go.
2 questions.
Boy. I'm right on. I remember the visual. All right, let's go back just a little bit. They asked Brian Schottenheimer about this whole big back thing. And so now there's this whole big back discussion that I don't even think I just think we're having the wrong discussion. Just because the Cowboys should play Jaden Blue, what does that have to do with a big back? What does it have to do with a big back? Just because you like big backs don't mean that you don't use a weapon like Jaden Blue. If you say you're going to be multiple, then be multiple. Not only have a power run game, because the Denver Broncos are going to do everything they can do to take the power run game away from the Cowboys. Because as much as I'm saying Javonte Williams is about to run all through the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, I guarantee you, is telling the Denver Broncos, if there is anything we're going to do, because we know Sean Payton is built like this, he's not like Matt Eberflus. I bet you Sean Payton is telling his defense, Javonte Williams better not run for 100 yards. How much you bet Sean Payton is telling his defensive coordinator that? Denver don't want to look wrong about Javonte Williams. They want to look justified in Javonte Williams. Sean Payton had something to do with Javonte Williams not being in Denver. They're coming to stop Javonte Williams. You have to be able to not only have an inside game, but have an outside game. Not only have an outside game, but have one of those running backs to where he is so versatile that he can play in the run game and in the passing game. We're going to have this big back discussion after we hear Brian Schottenheimer.
And they ask questions about the game plan, and I ask questions about potential personnel things, and but it's very normal. Like, you guys get excited about this time of year, but for us it's what we do, and it does that type of league right now with how everything is cut, the way he would run through contact, yards after contact. Our process is very much the same.
Javonte Williams, when he was free agent over the offseason, what about his time in Denver, and specifically last year, wasn't his best season in Denver? What did you guys see that made you guys want to target him in free agency?
Yeah, I mean, just the suddenness, the ability to jump cut, the way he would run through contact, yards after contact, to me is a big thing for running backs. I like big backs, I really do. I think it's that type of league right now with how everything is, played.
Now, Brian Schottenheimer said he likes big backs. It's that type of league. Well, I guess for me, the question is, what is a big back? I started looking at this because when you look at what a big back was in the past versus maybe what a big back is now, are these guys really big backs that they're talking about? And then the other question that needs to be asked, well, what's a small back? What's a small back versus a medium back versus a big back? Now, I'm putting the medium back in there for a reason. And you're going to see why I've created this thing about the medium back. And I want you to check it out. But I think people took this because I think, and I'll admit, I took this as, at first, I'm like, is he taking a shot at Jaden Blue? And then I looked at a post on X. I'm going to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Jesse with no I Walker, I think his name is Patrick. I get him. One of these guys over there was posting that Brian was talking about Deuce Vaughn. And maybe this is why Deuce Vaughn is no longer on the Cowboys team. Because Brian Schottenheimer likes bigger backs. Bigger backs. He likes big backs. And this is what he's saying right here. And so people were like all over this, like, yeah, he likes big backs and blah, blah, blah. And then people start talking about Marty Ball. Man, sometimes people be making arguments that they just, these are not really arguments. I don't think this is what Brian Schottenheimer was talking about the more I think about it. Because even when you think about Marty Ball, as we calling it, and Marty always had these big bruising running backs. What his most famous running back is actually LaDainian Tomlinson. But I got a question for everybody. How many Super Bowls? How many Super Bowls did Marty Schottenheimer win? How many AFC championship games did Marty Schottenheimer win? I think when you really look at this in the grand scheme of things, people have won Super Bowls with all types of backs. And in the grand scheme of things, for me, I just wonder, what do people call big backs? Especially big backs of the day versus big backs of the past. And then when we talk about big backs on the Cowboys team, I'm going to show you something that's absolutely astounding when you think about this in the grand scheme of things. Because if what he is saying is true, then I think we're going to see something even more profound as the Cowboys get deeper into the season. But let's listen to Brian Schottenheimer.
And physical, and but you do see a guy that creates explosives, and I think why does he do that? Because he doesn't hesitate, and it jumped off the film. It wasn't, again, something that they felt like, but we knew it was something that we wanted to add to our team.
Now, I brought this up the other day. I watched Jaden Blue run, and I'm glad that Brian gave him some opportunities to run this week. And for anybody who doesn't understand, It's a part of the plan. Jaden Blue has always been a part of the Cowboys' plan. Jaden Blue is going to be a part of the Cowboys' plan going forward. There is a reason why they drafted Jaden Blue. They knew exactly what he was. They didn't want him to come in and be Javonte Williams. We understand why he likes Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is a power back. It's exactly what he is. I still wonder if Rico Dowdle could have did the same thing had they bought in Clayton Adams and Connor Riley. Because a lot of this Cowboys, some of this Cowboys running success, we got to understand it's a cocktail. It's a cocktail of different things. It's not just Javonte Williams why this run game is better. I do not find it to be coincidental that Clayton Adams comes here and the run game gets better. Connor Riley, the run game gets better. The play of Dak Prescott, the run game gets better. Adding CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, you don't think the run game is going to be better? Tyler Booker, Ty Smith, Cooper Beebe. I talked about that triangle even in the offseason. I said Cooper Beebe, Ty Smith, and Ty Booker. Man, that's probably that is the greatest triangle probably in the league. It's going to be one of the best upcoming offensive lines in the league. They're running between the tackles. This isn't just, and let's understand, this isn't just Javonte Williams. Don't get me wrong. There have been some runs where it has been Javonte Williams making a man miss, knocking a man down, and whatever the case may be. But also, this has been a multitude of things that the Cowboys are doing well. Now, when we think about Jaden Blue, the part of the game the Cowboys have got to work on, and it's not just Jaden Blue, is Tyler Steele, Guyton, and the wide receivers blocking on the edges. Because we saw last week, Tolbert took a run away from Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue was 7 for 28, 4.1 yards a carry. Now, again, somebody telling me that 4.1 yards a carry is trash? What? Man, y'all keep listening to folk all y'all want to. 4.1 yards a carry ain't trash. That was on 7 carries. Jaden Blue, you can tell. Jaden Blue has home run hit ability. And for people who are judging this kid off of 14 carries, talking about he can't play, they're missing the point. The Cowboys never got Javonte Williams to be, I don't think they ever got him to be the bell cow back. He's not a bell cow back, but he's a versatile back who can play wide receiver, can line up in the slot, can do those wheel routes. He can be a problem for a linebacker. Jaden Blue, once they figure out how to work him in, we just got to understand, man, the Cowboys got a treasure trove of weapons, man. They're trying to figure out how to get all these guys some of the pie. But I want to show you something that I put together also on this thing.
I caught it. Yeah. I
about the big. Oh, let's play this part.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, yes, sir. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah,
I like big backs. No, some people just got it. Some people just got it in the back.
Brian gonna be viral if somebody takes this and uses it the right way.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to follow up with. Yeah, you get 2 questions.
Oh my gosh. All right, Coach. So, good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com.
Yeah, and again, it was Patrick Walker. I'm thinking that posted this. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Patrick Walker was talking about this, and it dawned on me that okay, maybe he wasn't actually talking about Jaden Blue. And again, why would he? Why would Brian Schottenheimer just take open shots at Jaden Blue? And we clearly know. We heard Jerry say we were glad to see Jaden Blue get some of the game because he brings something awesome to the table. Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones said it. He's a part of the plan. He's a part of the plan. And so again, I'm listening. I'm like, okay, I don't think Brian was talking about Jaden Blue. I don't. I do not think he was talking about Jaden Blue. So let me show you something that I put together here. Put together something called Big Backs. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I put together something called Big Backs. And I started wondering about this whole issue about big backs. I mean, what are we talking about? So you'll notice here, I got at the bottom of this slide that I created. So what are we talking about when we are talking about big backs? Small back status. So I came up with these numbers, kind of questioning Google, looking for different things on running backs. And I just kind of came with these numbers based on what I'm seeing today, in the past, and today, the past, the present, and the past. Okay. So small back status, I would put that at 160 to 199 pounds at 5'5". 5'5" is in height. 5'5" to 5'8" in height. I would call that I would say that's small back status. Y'all tell me what you think. I call that small back status. Now, when I say small back status, who comes to my mind is Deuce Vaughn. But if you look at Jaden Blue is on the borderline of what you would call small back status. Jaden Blue is 5'9", 196 pounds. Now, is that a small back? Small back compared to who? Now, Brian is calling Javonte Williams a big back. But is Javonte Williams a big back? Javonte Williams is 5'10", 220 pounds. I really call that more of medium back status, because you want to know what real big backs are when you look back to the days of the Eric Dickersons and those type of running backs. Man, those guys we're talking, what, maybe 230-ish, 240? But I guess because Brian says with the way the league is going, and we're gonna go and look at, I was looking at this also. I'm gonna show you something else, because this whole big back thing is fascinating to me. So we're gonna look at also the top 25 running backs in the NFL right now, because I'm gonna show you something that's funny when you start looking at this. Because I've heard people talking about, I've seen where we've been talking about running back duos. And I think that's a very good idea to have a running back duo, especially in today's NFL. Let me see here. Okay, so what we'll do is, I think I actually have the top 5 running backs, so I actually don't have to look at this graph. I think I already got this on the slide. Okay. So I got small back status at 160 to 199, medium back status 200 to 230, 5'9" to 6'1". I got big back status 230 and up, 5'11 and up, right? So when you look at Jaden Blue, he's 5'9", 196. You look at Javonte Williams is 5'10", 220. Now, he does outweigh Jaden Blue by 24 pounds. And 24 pounds, when you're talking about an athlete, is a lot. So he's 24 pounds heavier than Javonte. So he's than Jaden Blue. He's definitely bigger than Jaden Blue. But you want to talk about real big back status? It's Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa is what I would call a big back. Phil Maffa is 6'1", 234 pounds. That's a big back. And if you look at the top running backs in the league, and I'm going to just show you the top 5 running backs in the league. Man, let me tell y'all something. Phil Maffa is one of the biggest. He would be right now. Phil Maffa would be one of the biggest backs in the league. He would literally be one of the biggest backs in the league. Let me show you, because I thought this was kind of strange, because I'm just kind of conflicted about what are we calling a big back today. Because Brian said when you look at today, you need the big running back. So when we look at this, when you look at the top 5 running backs in the league, sorry about that. Hold on. I got a spelling error here. Somebody might come back and look at this later and say, he misspelled league. I got it. Technology, we can do it on the fly. All right. So when we look at the top 5 running backs in the league, size and weight. Jonathan Taylor, number 1, 5'10", 226 pounds. Second running back, Javonte Williams, 5'10", 220 pounds. Rico Dowdle, 5'11", 215 pounds. So is this what we're calling big backs? In that 200, 210 to 230? Is that what we're calling the big back? Because if you look at the third most successful back in the league, it's James Cook of the Buffalo Bills at 5'11", 190 pounds. Then if you look at the 5th running back, it's Jahmyr Gibbs at 5'9", 202 pounds. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because when I look back at Jaden Blue, he's 5'9", 196 pounds, and number 4 and 5 are 5'11", 190 pounds, 5'9", 202 pounds. What are we calling a big back? What are we calling a big back? Because in the grand scheme of things, the last time I checked, the Indianapolis Colts last year, not a playoff team. Cowboys, we know they were not a playoff team. Carolina Panthers, not a playoff team. Didn't have Rico Dowdle last year. We didn't have Javonte Williams. Buffalo Bills, 5'11", 190 pounds. AFC Championship game. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5'9", 202 pounds. Right in that same range of Jaden Blue. They went to the conference game. I'm not knocking Brian Schottenheimer for wanting a big running back. But what I want us to understand is that this argument about the big back being the way to the Super Bowl or the way for the Cowboys to win or blah, blah, blah. Other teams are winning and they don't have these quote unquote big backs unless we're talking about that 200-pound range. And Jaden Blue is right there on that 200. He's right there at that 200-pound range. And I'm sure as he gets older, he'll probably hit 200. But again, I mean, I think people just kind of ran with this thing that Brian Schottenheimer said about this whole thing about big backs and just absolutely went crazy with this. Because I heard people talking about the Cowboys need a running back duo. And this has been all over X. It's not just one person. Just because you heard one person talking about it don't mean I'm talking about that person. No. Everybody who y'all think starts a discussion don't start a discussion. When you talk about running back duos, Well, Jahmyr Gibbs is not that big of he's not a humongous running back. And I'm going to show you something else, even when you look at their depth chart, that I think that is even more astounding when you look at the Detroit Lions depth chart. When we start talking about these running backs. When you start breaking down the Detroit Lions running backs, let's go in here and let's look at the weight of these running backs. Let's see. So when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs is the one we have on here right now. Let's just look at Jahmyr Gibbs for a moment. Jahmyr Gibbs is 5'9", 202 pounds. Okay, are we classifying Jahmyr Gibbs as a big back? Because if I was at that press conference, I would want to ask Brian Schottenheimer, can you please follow up and tell us what is a big back running back? What is a big running back? What are you classifying as a big running back? Because if we're saying that Javonte Williams is a big running back, then we know that Jonathan Taylor, man, he must be huge. Javonte Williams, he must be huge. Rico Dowdle, you had a big back last year. But what does this mean for James Cook and Jahmyr Gibbs? And so I'm just saying all of this because I think people jump to conclusions on this too quick. Because let's think about Jahmyr Gibbs. The Detroit Lions have a very prolific offense. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5'9", 202 pounds, right? His running mate running back in David Montgomery. He's 5'11", 230 pounds. I would classify David Montgomery as a big back. But Jahmyr Gibbs? I got him in the... Jahmyr Gibbs, that's Jaden Blue. 5'9", 202 pounds. 5'9", 196 pounds. That's Jaden Blue. That's Jaden Blue. So if small backs are 160 to 199, so you're telling me that if it's just 1 pound, you're a small back. This is why I would like some clarity when you start talking about big backs, because people are using this in a crazy way to justify the Cowboys to not continue to give Jaden Blue more snaps. Why wouldn't you give Jaden Blue more snaps? It's crazy. Because we're going to run Javonte Williams in the ground if we're not careful. We're going to run him into the ground. Javonte Williams running 20 times isn't the same as other running backs running 20 times. Because when Javonte Williams runs 20 times, it's like Javonte Williams ran 30 times. Because Javonte Williams is welcoming contact and he is literally knocking people out the way. It's hard to run like that. It's hard to run like that for 17 games. He needs some relief too. He needs some breaks too. He needs some spells too. Why do we want to run him until we break him? Now, I do think people have been saying Cowboys need to go get another running back. I'm not sure the Cowboys need to go get another running back. What I want to know is what is the status of Phil Maffa? When does Phil Maffa come off of injured reserve? Because if Brian Schottenheimer loves big backs and he loves Javonte Williams, well, wait till he get a load of Phil Maffa at 6'1", 234. Let me tell you something. If Brian Schottenheimer can figure out how to get this combination working right at the end, towards the last quarter of the season, the Cowboys are going to be unstoppable. The Cowboys are going to be unstoppable. We already got Javonte Williams as a proven back. We don't have to go out there and get a Breece Hall unless the Giants are going to let Breece Hall go for some Cracker Jacks with a surprise on the inside. We don't need to give up draft capital and stuff for Breece Hall. Phil Maffa is exactly what Brian is looking for. And the way Javonte is running, just let him just work in Jaden Blue. Let's see if we get Maffa back, and then we can start working Maffa in. Now, if the Cowboys don't plan on bringing Maffa back, then the Cowboys need to start thinking about either bringing up Malik Davis or maybe they do go get a running back just to make sure that with Javonte, if he did go down, you still got that. I don't know. I guess if you're calling this is a big back, I don't consider 220 pounds a big back. I consider that to be average size back. That's the medium back. That's the going running back size. And when you look at Jaden Blue, contrary to what some people are saying, you don't put Jaden Blue out of the discussion. Jaden Blue is 5'9", 196 pounds. Anybody who knows anything about weight distribution of a body, when someone is 5'9", 196 pounds, that's not a small dude. Anybody calling Jaden Blue small, I bet you won't run up on him. I bet you won't run up on Jaden Blue being 5'9", 196 pounds. Man, if you 196, if you 5'9", 196 pounds, man, you bringing a load too. But Jaden Blue, that's not him. He's fast. And it kills me when people just make up just because he's fast don't mean he's good. What? What are you talking about? You don't make it to this level and not be good? Man, get out of here. That talk is crazy to me. Lolly, appreciate you. Lolly said, in case you missed it, G, Brandy is a big back. Brandy, what is going on? Does Lolly know you personally? Lolly said, Brandy is a big back. The Brandy, I hope you don't take offense to this. Do you know Lolly? Because he said you a big back. Now, I don't know. He may mean that in the Sir Mix-a-Lot way, Brandy. Is that what he mean? I don't know. Star Guardian X, appreciate that $5 super chat. Lolly, appreciate that $49.99 super chat from you too. Star Guardian X, he said, doesn't make sense, Shotty. If you like big backs, where is Maffa? It doesn't make sense. The math isn't mathing. Bro, Star Guardian X. This is why I would have asked a follow-up question. Bro, what's your definition of big back? What is your definition of big back? Let me see something here. The most famous running back for Brian Schottenheimer was LaDainian Tomlinson. So, y'all take a wild guess. I'm going to show you how people don't think when they're talking sometimes. So, based on this graph I have right here, how big would y'all think LaDainian Tomlinson playing weight was? How big do y'all think LaDainian Tomlinson's playing weight was? What would y'all think? Because LaDainian Tomlinson is the premier back that Marty Schottenheimer had in his offense. Y'all tell me how big, how tall, how big do y'all think LaDainian Tomlinson is? Because I'm going to show you something that's absolutely insane when you start talking about big back status. Look at LaDainian Tomlinson's size and tell me what you think. LaDainian Tomlinson was 5'10", 215 pounds. Is this what we're calling a big back? I'm really confused. This is why I said I wish somebody would have did a follow-up question on this and asked him, what do you call a big back? Because then we really do get some specificity on what could he be talking about. Don't understand it. I don't even understand the discussion. And what does it have to do with Jaden Blue? Jaden Blue is 5'9", 196 pounds. That's not small. That's just not small. That's crazy talk. This dude is not small. He may be smaller than Javonte Williams, but LaDainian Tomlinson was smaller than Javonte Williams. This discussion, I think people took this to a place that I'm not sure Brian was trying to take it. I don't think he was trying to take it because the one thing we know about Brian Schottenheimer, he has not done this since he's been with the Cowboys, and I have praised him for it. He has not done anything to where he tries to draw or make a rift between him and the front office. Brian Schottenheimer knows full well why they brought Jaden Blue in here, and they didn't bring Jaden Blue in to be the bell cow back. They didn't bring Jaden Blue in to be the power back. They didn't bring Jaden Blue in for those things. They brought him in for exactly what we're watching Brian Schottenheimer starting to do, and I applaud him for it, and I hope he continues to do it. Screen game, edges, and some wheel routes. That's what you want Jaden Blue for. You don't need him to be Javonte Williams. I don't even understand the discussion. But again, what is a small back? I don't understand what people are calling a small back. Marty Schottenheimer's most famous back, 5'10", 215 pounds, LaDainian Tomlinson. Don't be fooled by the football players of old. They all wore humongous shoulder pads and humongous thigh pads. They were not Earl Campbell big. Earl Campbell wasn't just a big back. He was a monster back. But when you look at, what is he calling big back? That's just what I would have asked him. I would have asked him, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Javonte Williams, we get it. But is he really a big back? Let me show you another example. What is a big back? Now, if he can give me clarity on what a big back is, okay, I get it. But let's look at another example. How big do y'all think Emmitt Smith's playing weight was? How big was Emmitt Smith's playing weight? Was Emmitt Smith what people call a big back, or what was he? Well, if you look at Emmitt Smith, he was 5'10", 221 pounds. Is this a big back? Is this what we're calling a big back by today's status? Because if you look at the top 25 backs in the league, they're all hovering in the area of Jaden Blue and Javonte Williams. They're all hovering in that area. So, again, I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse, but I'm just saying this discussion of the big back. What is he talking about? What in the world is he talking about? Now, Derrick Henry, that's a big back. But there are other running backs in this league who are being very successful. Very successful. And they're not what he calls big backs. And again, I'm not knocking any in any way Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is an absolute beast. He is an absolute beast. of a running back. And I don't want the Cowboys to do anything to mess with what Javonte Williams is doing other than give him some spells and get him, and not only give him some spells, when you beat a defensive line up with Javonte Williams, now bring in somebody that can hit him with speed. Because the more I keep looking at this, now, let's think about big backs. Let me tell you who is a big back and people don't realize it. This dude, Saquon Barkley, is what you call a big back. Saquon Barkley is a load, 6 feet 233. That's what I call a big back. Javonte Williams, to me, and I could be totally wrong, Javonte Williams to me is more of a power back. And you don't have to be a big back to be a power back. Javonte Williams at 5'10", 220, man, to me, he's almost perfect size. He's not as big. He's not as big as Saquon. But when you start thinking about some of these, let's see, Saquon Barkley, Will Shipley is their other running back. He's 5'11", 209 pounds. But again, when you look at the Detroit duo, one of their running backs is 190 pounds? I mean, I get it. I just don't think, I think we might have jumped to some conclusions. James Cook is absolutely balling, 5'11", 190 pounds. Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit, 5'9", 202 pounds. That's Jaden Blue's area. I think we might have jumped to conclusions on this thing with this quote-unquote big back thing that he's talking about. And we're running with this like he was saying that he's not starting Jaden Blue or he's not running. And we don't want Jaden Blue to start over Javonte Williams. Why would we want him to? Why would we want him to? I mean, we be making up stuff. Why would anybody want Jaden Blue to start over Javonte Williams? No. We want the Cowboys to use Jaden Blue too. Because when you put all of that speed and those skill positions on the field, it's just another weapon for other teams to have to worry about. And I believe that Jaden Blue is going to be that because Jaden Blue is a part of this. Yeah, Williams runs like a big running back. Now, Calvin Richard, that's why I just said. Appreciate that super chat. See, Williams is a power back. He runs big. But in the grand scheme of things, is he really big? LaDainian Tomlinson was all of it and a bag of chips. LaDainian Tomlinson was speed, moves, power. LaDainian Tomlinson, you don't see those type of running backs no more. The Emmitt Smiths, the LaDainian Tomlinsons, and I say, hey, Javonte is kind of a throwback in that respect. I don't think he's as skilled in the passing game for sure as LaDainian Tomlinson was. LaDainian Tomlinson was a killer in the passing game. Emmitt could play very well in the passing game too, but, and I'm not saying Javonte can't play, I just don't think he's on the level of them, but I just really think Javonte Williams is more of a power back. Because when I think big back, I'm like Star Guardian X, and this is the very reason why I made this graph, because when I think big back, I'm thinking Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and the Cowboys got a big back on their team. And his name is Phil Maffa. Boy, I hope this dude gets to get worked in too. Because if the Cowboys can figure out how to use all three of those guys, it's just better for the team. It's better for the team. All right, let's check out this thing. Let's fit in here right before we get to the game preview. Man, we got to listen to Matt Eberflus because I want to hear what Matt Eberflus has to say after that performance. And we're going to put this along with the game preview. After that performance by the defense last week, I got to hear what Matt Eberflus got to say. Let's check it out. It's only 13 minutes.
In terms of last week, I know we're over that, but just a couple of comments on that. I thought the guys tackled well. I thought all 11 played with great energy and passion, and it showed on the play out there. really, really happy for those guys, and it was intentional. The guys worked their tail off, had extra meetings as a group. That showed some good leadership, and then really the guys that played real well was obviously Jadeveon played well, Donovan, Duran, and really a lot of the guys did, and I'm excited for them. Hard work. It's hard work. This league is tough, and it was good to see those guys having fun out there playing, and it's really about growing and improving. Just keep a consistent improvement, and evaluate your work, from the last game, and then, just work to improve. It's just that simple. It's all we got is what we do on the grass. The guys worked hard yesterday, in terms of stopping the run and, being all together in terms of their execution, and then today's more about pass and third down. So we'll get going there today. Just put the plan in, the initial plan in. Guys picked it up well in the walkthrough, and we'll see where it goes into the practice. Excited to have Sean and Vaughn out there. Those guys been working really hard. Want to credit the training staff. They've done an outstanding job of getting those guys, working those guys, and getting them back to healthy. They're going to do a little bit more today, so I'm excited for that, for those guys. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How much was the success you had defensively last week about playing more man-to-man?
It's every week's different. Last week, we played more man-to-man because it was the right thing to do, and but obviously when you can do that, you're tighter in windows and stuff like that. We've done it some more on third down as of late, but the guys did a nice job of executing. It's important that we go forward, that we have multiple things in our package that we can do, pressures and man pressures, zone pressures, and all the like. But guys did a good job of executing.
Okay, now you guys prepare yourself this week. The Cowboys are not going to run as much man this week as they did last week. Brian Schottenheimer said this. Matt Eberflus has said this. I said this. It made sense to run man last week because you're going up against 4th, 5th, and 6th wide receivers. I mean, you of course your guys should be able to run with those guys. I mean, if McLaurin and Deebo Samuel would have played, I don't think the Cowboys go nowhere near as much man as they went last week. And this week, when you look at who they're going against as it applies to the Denver Broncos, y'all prepare yourselves. We're not going to be doing as much man. We're not going to do nowhere near as much man as we did last week. And the reason why we're not going to do it is because it just makes sense not to do it. It makes sense not to do it. Because when you look at the fact that the Cowboys are going to be going up against Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, I mean, that's their top 3 receivers right now. Nah, you ain't running man-to-man 40 to 50% of the time on them. In actuality, this game plan this week calls for more zone. At least that's what we're thinking. More zone, because Bo Nix has been struggling bad. Bo Nix has been struggling bad. And if there's anything he's going to struggle in, it's going to be zone. So you're going to see some more zone. You're going to see some more zone. You're going to see some more zone with the Cowboys this week. They're going to revert back to a little bit more zone because Bo Nix has been struggling. And the way you want to confuse him is with zone coverage. Now, I think the other issue is that Sean Payton is probably going to use some motion in that zone, and he knows anybody's been watching the film on the Cowboys. It's not breaking news. Brian Schottenheimer already said it. What throws the Cowboys defense are the shifts. It's the shifts. It's the motion. They don't adjust well on those types of things. So that's what they're going to throw at the Cowboys. Will they be able to handle those adjustments? This week will not be as much zone. But I do say with Bo Nix, I think you still need to keep that blitz percentage up into the 30s. And be very careful because Bo Nix, his saving grace, he's going to try to run the ball on you.
Some of your corners would like to play more man. Is that something you would like to do a little bit more of going forward, regardless of what the analytics might say?
Yeah, I mean, it's always about matchup. It's always about matchup. It's always going to be about that. It's a matchup league, so we got to make sure that we understand that, and we got to make sure we got to, ask our guys to do what they can do, and then do that and make it a strength.
Nick Harris, four-star Telegram. With the changes not only in playing more man, but also applying more pressure, where did you see the benefit of the pressure aspect of those things?
Yeah, I mean, pressure comes in a lot of ways, right? It's
Shout out Boss Cowboy. He said the point of Brian offense is to bring consistent punishment to a defense. You're missing it. No, I'm not missing it. What I'm saying is, though, just because you're going to continue to punish a defense, that don't mean you can't work Jaden Blue in exactly the way he worked Jaden Blue in this week. Nobody's saying, hey, man, split these carries up between Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue. No, keep it consistent. Javonte Williams and that power run game, keep it consistent. Let him keep powering and doing what he needs to do. But there's nothing wrong with catching these defenses ever so often. Okay, now we're going to get Jaden Blue a little bit change of pace and let them try to handle some of the speed that Jaden Blue has. That's what I'm saying. Two things can be true. Yeah, let Javonte Williams continue to do what he's doing. That don't mean you can't mix in Jaden Blue, which I do think already Brian Schottenheimer's already doing that. Brian Schottenheimer's already working in Jaden Blue. He went from 3 to 4, now he's to 7. I won't be surprised this week if he gets 10 touches, and it's the right thing to do because Jaden Blue, we cannot run him into the ground. We cannot run Jaden Blue into the ground. And I'm all for it. Hey, if you want to continue, hey, keep your power run game. I would like to see if Phil Maffa could get his butt off of if we could get Phil Maffa, off injured reserve, I think it would be absolutely great. And let him be a part of the big back duo if we want to have that with him and Javonte Williams. But that by no means pushes Jaden Blue off of the offense. Jaden Blue needs to get some of the carries. He needs to be a part of this offense. Use him. You don't have to take away. You don't have to take away from Javonte Williams to play Jaden Blue. That's the point. That's the point that I'm making with Jaden Blue. Get the dude involved. Get him involved. That's that simple.
Man, 5-man, and extra overloads, and I think that you have to have that in your package. And it's important to be able to mix it up. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. You got to be able to mix it up, and I think the guys did a good job of that. So they learn a ton of information fast. It's a smart group. So you're able to do that. So I'm excited about this week too.
And then Jack Sanborn, he was healthy, but Shamar James was the guy who got most of the reps. What have you seen from Shamar to be able to have that trust in him? Yeah, just the way he performed in the game was pretty good. Last few games, he's really done a nice job since the Jets game, and I'm excited for him. He's a quick athlete, super smart, high energy. He brings passion to the game. You can see that. Obviously, he made a couple splash plays in there too, and we expect the same. He's just got to keep growing. He's a rookie, so he's learning. There's so many teaching moments with him as a rookie, getting in the fire there and playing full time, and he's doing a good job of learning those things. And he's a hard worker, man. He applies what we teach him, and it's starting to show.
Matt, Todd Archer, the ESPN. What excites you most about seeing Overshown on the field?
Mostly excited about seeing you. But Overshown, obviously a great athlete. And I've been talking to him. The biggest thing with Schoen that I talked to him about is that he's a great athlete, but he can move more efficiently. We're always trying to get 6 inches or a foot closer to the ball so we can make plays. Be it a tackle or a tip ball or an interception, and that's what the coach's job is, to really point that out to the player, keep drilling the fundamentals about being an efficient mover. How to really create power in your game. And he's got some work to do there. He knows that. But man, just in terms of the clay that you get to work with, man, he is a great athlete. And again, he's like Shamar and Easy and all those
yeah,
guys.
Q-Town,
Really
that's where I am. Where's Phil
game.
Moffitt? If you're talking about big backs, I want to see him come off off IR.
He spent a lot of time with you in training camp, listening to the calls and things like that. What do you think the benefit of that was for him and maybe for you to learn him a little
Well,
bit?
like everybody, just learning the new system, right? He was learning the new system. He was learning the verbiage and how we talk and how the calls come in. And he was going through all the adjustments as the formations were coming out. So he was getting reps, during that time. And I think that's been invaluable for him to be able to, be caught up, stay caught up, and be where he is now.
John Machado with The Athletic, with Overshown, being around him since you got here, obviously he wasn't able to do stuff on the field. How do you think he's handled that, with staying engaged and staying motivated?
He's been antsy, man. He's been wanting to get out there, and he's been just probably tired of working with Britt. I would be too. He's not that personable, but whatever. But I do think that he's been antsy, man. He's been ready to get out there. He's been chomping at the bit, whatever terms you want to use. But man, he'll be ready. So excited for him.
And then with J.W. and Clowney, why do you think he was able to have kind of a breakout game for this season?
I just think time on task. He didn't have a training camp. So I think it's been a month, something like that. So it's right about the same amount of time. And just getting in the system, knowing the system. He wants to do right, wants to make sure that he's in the right spots. But we got to.
Yeah, yeah. Lisa Worley, J.D. Burton. See, y'all mentioning some true big backs. Now, I guess now what people call big back is different. Because when I think 220, I'm not saying that that's small by far. I guess it's big when you're talking about 220 versus 196. But I just don't consider that to be a big back. But I guess if that's what we're calling the big back now, okay, I guess I got some clarity if we're talking in that 215-ish. But you're talking about big back, John Riggins, Earl Campbell, Jerome Bettis. Man, Jerome Bettis was borderline this dude, Jerome Bettis, was borderline. I don't know what you call it. He was a big back, but I get it. Kevin Edwards, Derrick Henry is not a top 5 running back. I just took the top 5 running backs. I didn't take the top running backs in history, anything like that. I took the top 5 running backs right now. And the top 5 running backs right now, 2 of those 3 running backs are below 200. They are below 200. And I find it to be funny. That those 2 running backs, when you look at those teams, they look at where they went. Look at where they went versus what we're talking about. So, again, if we're talking about that the big back running backs are, okay, if we're talking like in the 215 to 225 range, okay, I get it. We're talking about big back. But I don't know if I still call Javonte Williams. And like I said, that's just me being older. For me being older, because when I look at the running backs of back then, I call those big backs. Brian Schottenheimer's definition of big back, I'm just going to use it for what he's saying. Well, I guess it's Javonte Williams. But even today, I call a big back Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. Those to me are large backs. Now, if you're telling me a bell cow back, I get that definition better because I consider Javonte Williams at this point, I consider him to be a bell cow back. Javonte Williams is an absolute monster. And again, this is why I say people take discussions in places that the discussion, this is why I wish they would have asked him more of what does he mean. Because again, like I said, Patrick Walker kind of gave me a little bit different perspective on this because he related it to Deuce Vaughn, not Jaden Blue. And so people immediately starts trying to attack Jaden Blue by saying he don't need to play. No, he needs to play. Jaden Blue absolutely needs to play for the Cowboys. He needs to play. Because we need a change of pace running back, even if it's a couple of series. Work him in wherever you can because you don't want to run Javonte Williams in the ground. Because I'm telling you, man, his 20 rushes, they're just not the same. The dude is a very violent runner. Yeah, Cowboys face again. I'm saying the definition of a big running back has changed. Because if you're telling me a running back that's 220 is big, okay. If that's what his definition is, I'm following it. But J.D. Burton, again, you mentioned Derrick Henry. That's a big back. Derrick Henry is a big back. But again, the discussion is not that serious. Javonte Williams is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. And the foolishness of the conversation is to think that if the Cowboys were to give Jaden Blue 10 to 15, and we're not even talking about carries, get the ball in his hands. It's foolish to think giving Jaden Blue some snaps in the passing game, in the run game, is going to hurt the team. That's foolishness. It's pure foolishness. It don't take away from Javonte Williams to allow Jaden Blue some snaps. What's the problem? What's the problem? There is no problem. And this is why I say we turn this into, again, Jay Recruiter. That's exactly what I'm saying. You just heard me mention it. If you tell me bell cow, I say, yeah, he's a bell cow back. But if you tell me he's a big back, well, doggone it, then a lot of these running backs in this league are big. If that's the case, they had a big back last year. Rico Dowdle was a big back. But I don't consider Rico Dowdle to be a big back. I don't. I just don't consider him to be a big back. But there's nothing wrong. And again, and this is where people are taking the discussion in places that it is foolishness in a sense. Jaden Blue getting 10 to 15 reps is a problem? Foolishness.
Chance to see him turn it loose a little bit last week, and there's more in there. There's more in there, and we're excited to see the more.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. What did you like about Savon Rebel during the draft process, and what do you think he can do for you when he gets back to be able to play on Sunday?
Yeah, big, strong, powerful corner. He's got really good press skills.
Trevon Diggs
he's a willing
replacement,
tackler, and he's actually more than that. He's a really good hitter, and when you get a big body, on those big body receivers, I think that's an advantage that you can have and utilize.
And this Denver offense uses the most screen yards in the league. How do you, with your corners getting off of blocks on the outside, what goes into that preparation this week? Is it maybe more?
Yeah, just reps, right? Put them in practice. Show the guys the tape. Put it in the walkthroughs and all that. And I think it's important that we have our minds and attention to that. Because they coach it well, they do it well, and it's really. Obviously, you said it, number one screen team in the league.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Shotty said after the game that analytics played a big role in you guys running man. You kind of alluded to that as well. What is your process for taking in analytics, kind of discerning it, and then also using analytics versus feel in terms of play calling?
It's like anything. You have to watch the tape. Analytics tells you something, but the tape tells you the truth. So we have to really understand that the tape tells us what's going on. But I like to get the analytics first to look at it, to see where it is, and then really get the evidence off the tape. And then you see, how can you move your defense to fit, what they're doing on offense, and then really, It's just about the guys executing, right? What kind of technique you want to use, how are you going to do stacks, bunches, all those types of things that you have to talk about. But it's a starting point.
We talked about confidence with the players a lot through the first 6 weeks. Obviously, last week was a big confidence booster. When you have such a confidence-boosting game after the kind of stretch you guys had, how pivotal is the next game in terms of retaining that or even building on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's always good and bad in every performance, so we look at it that way. So there was some good, a few weeks ago, there was some good earlier, there was good in the first game, whatever game it is, there's always good that you can build upon, and there's things you can improve on, so everybody always looks at numbers and looks at different things like that, and that's cool. I get that, but when you're growing and improving as a unit, you really have to, look at the positives and then look and see what you can do better in terms of fundamentals. That's a big focus for us across our entire team is really keep on the fundamentals and drill the fundamentals, make them game-like, there's a conditioning level to them. And, so the guys are doing it repetitive over and over again. And I thought our coaches did a nice job, and I thought the players did a nice job yesterday.
Babe Loffenberg, 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys Radio. Matt, obviously, Duran had the pick six, but a couple of big plays in his tackling game. Defeated Ertz on the 2-point. He got the tackle on Jaden Daniels, and he goes 3rd and 13, but he got McNichols a couple of yards short of the first down on the sideline for us to punt there. Just did you know he was that kind of tackler, and is that a part of him being in the slot? Obviously, a little more involved in the run game on nickel.
Yeah, well, first of all, he's an impressive young man. He's uber smart. Obviously, the talent. He's very talented. He's got wide tires. He can stop on a dime. That's the thing that jumps off the tape. His coverage ability is outstanding. But he has good instincts. He's not just a cover guy. He has great instincts to be able to bait people. So he's a hell of a talent. And then if you got a corner that can tackle, that's a willing tackler, that's a very good tackler like he is, that is a huge bonus.
A corner that is a good tackler and a willing tackler. I hear you, Matt Eberflus. I hear what you're saying.
So you can use them in multiple spots, inside, outside. You can put them where you need them. And it's not too big for him to handle, in terms of that. So excited for him. I'm glad he's playing well here the last few games, and it's going to continue.
Scott Dixon, DAP. Kenny Clark, what have you seen from him leadership-wise, considering how late he joined the team?
Just a true pro. He's been really good. I showed the guys the walkthrough. Wasn't happy with a couple walkthrough reps yesterday, and I showed them that. And the ones I showed that were really good was him. Really taking his steps. Feet, hands, and eyes, going through the rudiments of the game, even in a walkthrough. And we have to all do that all the time. So when we have elite in the indoor at the walkthrough, we'll have elite in practice and then elite in the game. So there's a process to it, and he understands that process, and that's why he's played 10 years.
True Texan, appreciate that super chat. True Texan, he said, finding your channel got my passion for the boys back. I like straight talk and the vibe here. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. True Texan, I love everything you've done since you've been in the congregation. Appreciate you. Chris Kane said, getting my Jaden Blue jersey in a minute now. Jay Recruit, he said he wants backs that punish the defense. There's no problem with that. That's not, and again, this becomes the issue. That's not what I'm fighting against. That's not even the argument I'm making. All I'm saying is play him. What's wrong with playing him? And again, I'm not worried about our conversations are all null and void because he's a part of the plan. He's been a part of the plan. The Cowboys already knew. And this is the part that people don't comprehend. The Cowboys already knew Jaden Blue was not a bell cow back. We don't think they know what he is. Now the Cowboys got Phil Maffa because I think they believe that Phil Maffa in the future could possibly be a bell cow back with that size, with that speed, the power that he possesses. I think they believe that he can be a part of that, but the Cowboys know what Jaden Blue is. One of the reasons why you like to wear down defenses with bigger backs is because when you let loose a speedier running back like a Jaden Blue, it catches them in a way to where they can't do anything about it because they're so worn down because they went from this bruising running back, now they're dealing with this quicker, faster running back. Jaden Blue is a part of the plan, and he's been a part of the plan. Poobie D said exactly, G, preserve him for late season and bring Maffa up. I'm telling us, man, we have got to start getting Javonte Williams some spells, some rest. We have to, because I'm telling us, man, you can't do this for 21 games. You can't do what he's doing for 20 games. You can't do it. You're eventually going to where something is going to give. Unless they get something to go with him. Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue. Get him involved. And then you work him back. Shoot, Kevin Ellis. I bet he did used to play defense back in the day. I had a friend that I used to play with in school, and he went pro. And he used to play, man, he was a running back, but he's played defense too. And he went pro as a defensive player rather than an offensive player. Absolute mauler. No doubt about it. David Mills said, gee, the average weight of the NFL running back is 212 to 217. The big back is considered 220 to 230. Okay, gotcha. 220 to 230. See, me, I'm from back in the day, David Mills. I don't see 220. Now, when you start getting to 230, I'm starting to say, yeah, you hitting big back status. Because that's where I see a big back is. But I don't really think Javonte Williams, I don't see him as a big back. See him as a bell cow back. Don't see him as a big back. Yeah, Randy, I'm with you. Derrick Henry is what I call a big back. I don't call him a big back. But he's a bell cow back, and he can run the ball. He's an absolute monster. He's a beast, and I love what the Cowboys are doing with him. I don't think anyone thought this dude was going to do what he doing. I think some people thought he was going to be good. I don't think nobody thought he was going to be that good. But Too Tall Jones, he said Maffa after the bye week. Now, let's keep this in mind too. This is the perfect storm that we're watching with the Cowboys. Clayton Adams has made a huge difference for the Cowboys. Huge difference for the Cowboys. Let's keep all of this in mind. Clayton Adams' blocking schemes are incredible. He did it in Arizona. He's doing it in Dallas. Brian Schottenheimer bought Clayton Adams here specifically for what he's doing. Connor Riley has done very good with the offensive line. We got to give these two men credit. We are watching the perfect storm. We're also watching George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb line up on the outsides. We're watching Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, and Ty Smith. That along with the blocking schemes. And the blocking schemes have been so good. The offensive line coaching has been so good that even when we had TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, Thomas, even when we had them step in, it's like we didn't almost miss a beat. Now, Carolina stuffed us and said, no, if this is how you're going to run all day, you're not going to run today. And this is another reason why I'm saying you got to be multiple. Hey, you can try to punish people all you want to, but you're going to run up against defensive lines that can take the punishment. Carolina was one of them. The Giants were one of them. You're going to run up against those defensive lines. They're going to be able to handle everything you throw at them. You can try to punish them. What they're going to do, they're going to punish you like the Carolina Panthers punished us. When you start getting towards the playoffs, the better teams, they're going to try to snuff out what you're going to be able to do. They'll make a choice. We're either going to try, okay, which one are we going to take away, the pass or the run? I don't think you can take away the Cowboys pass. So maybe they'll take away the run, especially if you're just going to do it one way. No. You don't have to take anything from Javonte Williams. Let Javonte Williams keep being Javonte Williams. Use Jaden Blue. There's nothing wrong with it. DCL for life. He said, up 5'9", 196 pounds, but I got a beer belly. Man, I'm telling you. Yeah, Big Amish said that you need to use him in the I formation like Dor said in the past, screens and edge runs. That's all I've been saying. Why not? We don't need him to be Javonte Williams. We don't need him to be Javonte Williams. Let him be the speed back. Yeah, I'm telling you, Alicia, people calling him small. I bet they won't run up on him. I bet they get knocked out. Straight up. Yeah, I said this 5 points of the star. You might have missed it. I said Javonte is more of an old school back. I said that in my conversation. I think he's more of an old school back. I do. He's a bell cow back. Very few of those. But I can tell you this. He ain't going to hold up if they keep running him the way that they run him because of the way that he runs. The dude runs different, man. You got to get somebody in there to spell it. Randy said a Hall of Famer came out of college and started. He was 190 pounds by the name of Tony Dorsett. Coach would have been fired for not starting Tony Dorsett. Man, let me tell you something, boy. I watched some film on Tony Dorsett last month. Boy, Tony Dorsett was a different animal. Boy, Tony Dorsett was a different animal, man. Yeah, exactly, Poopy D. I mentioned this earlier. Gibbs from Detroit is not a big back. I mean, I'm cool with what he's saying. I'm cool with what Brian Schottenheimer is saying. I wish somebody would have asked him give some more clarity. You know, give a little bit more clarity on that. Because it ain't just big backs that's running the doggone. It ain't just big backs that's winning Super Bowls. Yeah. Rich Lord, yes, sir. I brought that up about Emmitt Smith. All right, let's keep rolling. We're about done with Brian, done with Matt Eberflus. Let me tell you something, man. I'm very interested to see what Matt Eberflus' defense looks like. Because this is going to be this will be a test for him this week because Sean Payton going to throw everything at him. But Bo Nix has been struggling. I want to see if Matt Eberflus can strategize against him.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Matt, Kyrie Elam back in the starting lineup this past week. What did you see from his performance?
First off, he had a really good week of practice. So I saw some of those things in practice. He's going to continue to work, on all his skill sets, and he's improving. I really like where he is, but again, there's always competition across the board, and I think we just keep that going. But I was happy the way he played.
Facing Bo Nix, what are your thoughts on kind of his abilities after kind of a down game against the Jets and then the big game, obviously last week against the Giants?
Yeah, he's gritty. That's the first thing that stands out to me, man. What a competitor. I believe he's a coach's kid. You can definitely tell that for sure. But he's a gritty competitor. He can run. His ability to scramble.
That's going to be their problem right there.
You saw that at the game last week in the 2 minute. I know it was 6 minutes to go, but it's took off and ran and got a big gain there, and then a big money play on the sweep. At the very end there. So he's got really good ability to run. He's quick, understands when things break down, he can take off. So that's a problem for everybody.
Sydney, and thanks for that.
Coach, Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. How do you find a balance of being a defense that dictates to an offense you're playing against how they should play versus allowing another offense to dictate what you do as a defense?
Yeah, I think you stay aggressive. I think that's one thing, and you pick your spots when you're aggressive. And, you got to change up your looks and keep them off balance, the best you can. We're playing a very diverse offense, in the run game and the pass game this week.
Yeah.
And they give you a lot of different looks, a lot of different things that they do in terms of the run game and the pass game. So we have to be sound. We got to make sure we're playing aggressive and attacking, and that's the way you do it. And but, yeah, it's a good group we're playing this week.
Ed Warder, WFAA. Regarding Trayvon Diggs, what's his status and what are your expectations for him this week?
Yeah, in status, he's in concussion protocol still, so we'll see where it goes. Typically, when a person goes into concussion protocol and stays there later in the week, the chances of playing are
Yeah, you don't have to say it. Trayvon Diggs ain't playing again this week. I think it's obvious. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys are working up some kind of trade package or something. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys trade Trayvon Diggs next week. I'm preparing myself for the Cowboys to trade Trayvon Diggs. Now, again, I said this about Trayvon Diggs. I'm going to stay right here until something changes. This is either going to be a dud or a bomb. But this thing with Trayvon Diggs, it stinks. It absolutely stinks.
Are slim, but we'll see where it goes.
Last thing, obviously there's a lot of conjecture with the trade deadline coming up after you play these next 2 games, and it's all been about Jerry saying, is there something out there that can improve the defense? What's your role in that? Like, are you involved in those conversations?
That's a simple answer. Listen to Jerry.
Yes, sir. Hey.
Alvin Watkins.
This man said, listen to Jerry. Shoot. Matt Eberflus said, man, I'm not getting in this. And, when we talk about Brian Schottenheimer, people have to understand, people were saying, Brian Schottenheimer, this is what he wants. So I guess because Brian Schottenheimer likes big backs, and I still wonder, okay, he likes big backs, but does that mean you don't? So just throw away Jaden Blue when Jaden Blue can do more than play running back. Brian Schottenheimer don't have enough skins on the wall to be trying to run the Cowboys personnel. It doesn't work like that, and everybody knows it. Now, we can say what we want to say about the Cowboys should let it. No, you don't get to run the personnel. Jimmy Johnson ran the personnel. That was a different time. Brian Schottenheimer don't get to roll up in here and say who he wants and who he doesn't want. The Cowboys draft players. Some of these players he wants. Some of the players the defense want. They're all staying in good communication. They're all staying in good communication with the front office. But we're fooling ourselves if we don't think that they got a plan for Jaden Blue. They got a plan for Jaden Blue. They knew what Jaden Blue was when they drafted him. And we all kind of saw this coming because when the Cowboys got Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, we all kind of figured that they were one of the two were going to be the starting running back. I was actually surprised that Miles Sanders made the team. I don't even know how they justified Miles Sanders making the team. But it's obvious that the Cowboys want to bring Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa along slowly. It's obvious. And I don't think they drafted Jaden Blue just to say that because Brian has talked ad nauseum about the fact how the front office and him are in sync and they communicate. They knew what Jaden Blue was. Somebody asked, I brought this up because I'm just using Brian Schottenheimer's own words. And I don't think Brian Schottenheimer is lying about this. I think he's saying the truth. Let me see here. This was when they got Jaden Blue because everybody was excited when they got Jaden Blue. And again, no matter what the fan base thinks, I don't think any of us are trying to say that Jaden Blue is a first-round draft pick wrapped up in the whole league messed up and drafted him in the 5th round. No, he's a 5th-round draft pick. He is I think he was a 5th-round draft pick. And matter of fact, he might have been drafted later. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I get this right. It's been so long since we talked about the draft. I think he might have been drafted later now that I think about it. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay, he was drafted in the 5th round. Okay, Jaden Blue drafted in the 5th round. Okay, just want to make sure I'm right on that. So, the Cowboys drafted Jaden Blue in the 5th round. And again, the Cowboys knew what Jaden Blue was. It says, just like that, the Cowboys running back room was shaken up in Dallas, added 2 rookies to the mix. The question is, however, is obvious. How big of a role will either take on considering their late round status and not exactly can't miss projects? Well, according to the Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer, they're legitimate candidates to start, but he didn't say when. He said, I would hope so, Schottenheimer bluntly told reporters when asked if we thought they could start. Otherwise, we wouldn't have drafted them. Now, the Cowboys brought in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. And we kind of started seeing that it was shaping up. At first, we thought it was Miles Sanders, but then Javonte Williams started to turn it on in training camp, and we all started kind of figuring, man, Javonte Williams is going to be running back 1. But we were a little bit confused why Miles Sanders made running back 2. The Cowboys purposely, I believe, are bringing both of them along slowly. And again, you watch what I tell you. They're going to ramp up Phil Maffa. I mean, not Phil Maffa. Excuse me. They're going to ramp up Jaden Blue as this thing continues on. And why wouldn't they? We all saw what this dude did in college, in the college playoffs. This dude can absolutely be, and I think he will be, a weapon for the Cowboys as time goes on. And we don't have to, and this is the problem I have with so many people. This is why I don't do a lot of talking with certain people, because you can't reason with certain people because they only want to see the point that they want to see. We don't have to disparage Javonte Williams in order for Jaden Blue to get some snaps. We don't have to disparage Jaden Blue. We don't have to disparage Jaden Blue because we want Javonte Williams to keep doing what he's doing. Let him keep doing what he's doing. There's nothing wrong with him doing what he's doing. Keep doing what he's doing. Work Jaden Blue in. He is a weapon, and they know it. And you can tell because Jerry and Steven both have been happy. They both have said each week, we were glad to see Jaden Blue in the game. We were glad because they know what the plan is. All right. So, it is time. Let's get into this game preview. Let's go. Antoine Bass, where you been? He said, we're beating the Broncos. I'm putting it in the air. Let's go. Yeah, I think we're beating them too. Bass, what up with you? Good to see you in here. Poobie D, I think we still gonna play man. We're just not gonna be able to play it as much as we did the last time. All right. Let's get on with the Dallas Cowboys preview. The Dallas Cowboys preview. And it is going to be a great game, I believe, this week from the Dallas Cowboys. I think it is going to be an absolutely great game. Sean Payton. I hope the Cowboys beat the brakes off the Denver Broncos because this man, I have no problem with him cutting Russell Wilson. We know Russell Wilson ain't Russell Wilson no more. I get it. But what I do have a problem with is how this man disrespected this man as a man. Man, I'm hoping that the Cowboys beat the brakes off of them just for that fact. So let's get into the storylines. There are some very strong storylines in this Dallas Cowboys versus Chicago Bears thing. And one of the things that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is we better understand the Denver altitude. The Denver altitude. We better make sure that we don't turn this into a track meet with the Denver Broncos. We got to make sure we don't get into a track meet. Because that Denver altitude, man, we have seen many teams be on the sidelines. Poobie D, I'm going to come back to these comments you just made. You and Corliss Piper, I'm going to come back to these two comments. I like it because I'm going to get to Jaden Blue in this discussion also. I like these comments that you made. Yes, sir. I'm highlighting every one of these comments, and I'm gonna come back to them here in just a moment. But this Denver altitude, the Cowboys, I just don't know if anything can prepare you for that Denver altitude, man. You get up in there and you get to playing and running and back and forth, man. People, I've seen people in games be on the sideline gasping for air like they got asthma. The Denver altitude. The Cowboys got to be very, very careful getting into a shootout with the Denver Broncos. Next storyline. Javonte Williams returns to Denver. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not going to be shocked if Javonte Williams runs for 150 yards on the Denver Broncos. I am not going to be surprised if he runs for 150 yards. I'm not. Javonte Williams, I believe, is going to run like a madman. He ain't going to say anything. He's already said in this interview he just wants to win the game. Yeah, he wants to win the game, all right. And he wants to be a big part of it. I think he's going to be a big part of them winning the game. Dre Greenlaw being out for the Denver Broncos. That's a break for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. Now, the Denver Broncos defensive ends are still going to give Terrence Steele and Guyton problems. But Dre Greenlaw is a problem that we are not going to have on the field. Cry me a river. The Cowboys been injured all season. I don't feel sorry for them. Next storyline. Do y'all realize we haven't beaten the Denver Broncos since 1995? 1995. The Cowboys, this is a, man, if this don't fire you up as a Cowboy, nothing will. 30 since 1995? That is insanity. That's a reminder of the Super Bowl. 1995 season. Man. Next. Will we get some consistency from Matt Eberflus's defense? I'm very interested to see this defense a second week without Trevon Diggs. Not because I don't like Trevon Diggs, but I can see the little shots there. If y'all not hearing the shots they're taking at Trevon Diggs, and maybe I'm going crazy, but it seems like to me they are taking shots at Trevon Diggs. Talking about how hard all the guys practice, how hard all the guys played as a team. Talking about a cornerback that can tackle and willing to tackle. Okay. I want to see if this defense can be consistent, and I want to see what they look like another week without Trevon Diggs. Next up, can the Cowboys get a win streak? The Cowboys are 3-3-1. The Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys have not been able to string together back-to-back wins. They have not been able to do it. Let's go and look at the games the Cowboys have played. See if I can go back and look at this real quick. So when we look at the games the Cowboys have played, the Cowboys lost the first game, won the second game. Okay, won the second game, lost the third game, tied the fourth game, won the fifth game, lost the sixth game, won the seventh game. Can we get a win streak? Can the Cowboys put together a 2-game winning streak? Because if the Cowboys can put together a 2-game win streak, I think they put together a 3-game win streak going into the bye week against the Arizona Cardinals. Last but not least, and this is going to continue to be a story until it's not a storyline, Dak Prescott continues his MVP bid. Dak Prescott, I believe 3 touchdowns last 4 games. Dak Prescott is going to need 4 or 5 touchdowns in Denver to win this game. Because when you look at the Cowboys on the road, the Cowboys scored 24, they lost. They scored 14, they lost. They scored 37 on the Jets, they won. They scored 27 on the Panthers, they lost. So these road games have really been plaguing the Cowboys. The Cowboys have got to win a back-to-back game on the road. They need this road win. And I tell you, this right here will be a big boost for the Dallas Cowboys team. Not to mention how big of a boost it'll be for the fan base. Now, the injury report. I don't really know a whole lot right now. I couldn't find a whole lot. But I do think the 2 big major issues are Trevon Diggs did not practice. And I believe Matt Eberflus has already told us Trevon Diggs is not playing. Now, Cooper Beebe is trying to play. I'm not sure if Cooper Beebe is going to be able to play, but Cooper Beebe is trying to play. They've opened up the 21-day window. Cooper Beebe is saying he's good to go. We'll see if the Cowboys say that he's good to go. Lost in translation, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, these running backs of the day, man, I'm telling y'all, these running backs of the day, these ain't the kind of running backs I call big, but I get it. I get it. All right. Questionable report. Marshawn Kneeland has an ankle injury. Kenny Clark elbow, but he's playing. Wanye Thomas, I didn't realize didn't play last week, has a migraine. They're hoping he's going to play this week. Johnny Cornelius, knee, we'll see. Next up. Let's see here. This was the replacement report from last week. Now, injury report for the doggone Denver Broncos. From what I've seen, doesn't look too bad at all. Jonah Ellis, who was supposed to not play, Jonah Ellis, their outside linebacker, has been upgraded to playing. So we're going to see how that turns out for the Denver Broncos. All right. Offensive stat comparison. Every team the Cowboys face were the number 1 team, the number 1 offense in the league, and the last defense in the league. Might have stepped up 1 this week, but I'm thinking we're still last. Cowboys. They are winning in every category almost. Cowboys, yards per play 6.1, Broncos 5.9, points per play 0.497 versus 0.357. Rush play percentage 39.15 versus 42.11%. Pass play percentage 60.85% by the Cowboys, 57.89% by the Broncos. Completion percentage, Dak Prescott is on a Hall of Fame level completion percentage, 71.21, and I think he ranks in the top 3 as far as pass attempts. Dak is doing his thing. Third down conversion, the Cowboys are 44.05%. The Denver Broncos are 35.79%. Red zone percentage, the Cowboys are 66.67%. The Broncos are 68.18%. All right, let's read a super chat real quick. Yeah, start going next. I agree with you. Wonder how the haters move the goalpost this time. You know they will. The Denver Broncos are a 5-2 team. Cowboys beat them, start going next. They were never that good to begin with. You know how they do it. Offensive position comparison. The Cowboys are better at every position to me. The Cowboys are better at running. The Cowboys are better at quarterback, better at running back, better at wide receiver. O-line better, I believe. Tight end better. Coaching better. I'll take Brian Schottenheimer over Sean Payton. Overall, I believe the Cowboys are better than the Broncos offensively. Defensive stat comparison. No surprise. The Broncos are better than us on defense. Opponents' yards per play, the Broncos only allow 4.5. Opponents' points per play, The Broncos only allow .298. Opponent's completion percentage. I'm going to be very interested to see how Dak Prescott works on this Denver Broncos team. 55.88% allowed. Opponent's third down percentage. Only 29.17%. The Cowboys are going to have to keep themselves out of third and long. Opponent's red zone percentage. 37.50%. Boy, we're going to see what the Cowboys do. And of course, when you look at the Cowboys defense, those numbers are abysmal. 6.1 yards per play by the Cowboys. 0.444 points per play. Opponent's completion percentage, 69%. Opponent's third down percentage, 52%. Opponent's red zone percentage, 67%. Woo, man. Our defense. Let's hope they can continue. Let's hope they can continue to rise. I wanted to bring this up in particular about the Denver Broncos. Their quarterback pressure rate is the best in the league. They get pressure on the quarterback at a rate of 47.2%. Sack rate 12.8. Now, where I believe that Dak Prescott is going to be able to do damage on the Denver Broncos is they allow a almost league worst 2.87 seconds of throw time. That is an eternity for Dak Prescott. That is an eternity for Dak Prescott. I have a feeling that Dak Prescott is going to go up and down the field on the Denver Broncos. Time to pressure, 2.71 seconds. They are 22nd. This is where I believe that Dak Prescott is going to eat. They are 35% blitz rate. Now, Dak Prescott has been great against teams that blitz. Absolute great against teams that blitz. So I'm not worried. The defensive position comparison. There is no, hold on. Make a quick correction, sorry about that. We don't even have to worry about comparing this. The Denver Broncos defense is better than the Cowboys. None of us are surprised at this. The Denver Broncos D-line, even though I think our D-line is on the rise, I think their D-line is better, the linebackers are better, the cornerbacks are better, safeties are better, their coaching at this point is better. Overall, they got a better defense than the Cowboys. So this is what the Cowboys will be contending with. Let's look at the offensive keys for the Cowboys to win the game. Offensive keys, same as I've been saying, but a little bit change up. Offensive keys. Run the ball 35 times. I'm still waiting on the Cowboys to hit that number. Run the ball 35 times. I believe that the Denver Broncos will be keying on Javonte Williams. So the Cowboys are going to have to get their play action game in order. Again, not only will the play action game come into play, but I still want them to feed Williams. Feed Javonte Williams. Let Javonte Williams destroy the Denver Broncos. Let him destroy them. But also, the Cowboys have got to get Jaden Blue involved. And the reason why I believe they have to get Jaden Blue involved, when you think about this high altitude, when you think about how hard this man is probably going to be running, they are going to have to let Jaden Blue spell this man. I don't care if it's a couple of series or you just kind of work him in and out, however you want to do it. But Jaden Blue has got to start helping taking on some of this load. You have to. I also want to see the Cowboys get Turpin involved, and I also want to see the Cowboys get Jonathan Mingo involved. I got a feeling that the Denver Broncos strategy is going to be Surtain the second on George Pickens. And then I think they're going to put the other cornerback, I think his name is Moss. I think they're going to put him on CeeDee Lamb, but I also think they're going to get him some help underneath or either over the top. So the Denver Broncos are going to attempt the impossible. They're going to try to stop the Cowboys offense. And I think I'm telling you, this is another reason why Jaden Blue is running so well. The Denver Broncos are going to have to choose how they're going to either win or get beat. If you dedicate everything to stopping Javonte Williams, you're going to leave some one-on-ones on CeeDee Lamb or either George Pickens. Now, I believe that the Broncos are going to allow Surtain II to go one-on-one against George Pickens. I believe it. I believe it. And if I was them, I would. I'd do it. I mean, this is what I'm paying him for. Surtain II is what? The best cornerback in the league? I believe they're going to let him go up against George Pickens one-on-one. And so for that reason, Turpin, they need to get him open in space. I'd like to see Mingo being a bigger wide receiver, going against their third wide receiver sometimes too, helping him, getting him to help block in the run game. And last but not least, these Denver Broncos defensive ends, they're not no joke. They're gonna have to protect Dak Prescott. And again, run the ball. I still say the Cowboys need to run Blue. I don't care if it's 10 times, but they need to run him. Cowboys, keep Javonte Williams around that 20 to 25 times. Keep Hunter Lipke at fullback. He's been doing a great job. Minimize the penalties, especially on the road, or you're not going to win this game. No turnovers, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment. No turnovers by the Cowboys. Get Jaden Blue in the screen game in the edges. This is how you stop a pass rushing defense. Get screens and things of that nature on them. Win the time of possession. Keep the defense off the field. And I'm not talking about no 31-29. Man, I'm talking about 40-20. Keep them boys off the field. Love to see some explosive plays to Turpin. Blue in the passing game. George Pickens, deep outs, deep shots, because I believe the Denver Broncos are going to allow Patrick Surtain to try to go at George Pickens one-on-one. Defensive wise, we need 3 and outs. They need to not only spy, but they need to sack Bo Nix. Bo Nix is going to try to run on the Cowboys. They're going to need gap integrity. They're going to have to stop the run. The Broncos are going to try to run the ball. They need to keep hovering around that 30% blitz rate. No big plays. Now, defensive keys some more. Cowboys got to ramp up Jadeveon Clowney. Ramp up Donovan Ezeraku. I didn't put James Houston, Jadeveon Clowney on the field at the same time. Hoping to see some more continued of Marquise Bell. I hope Wanye Thomas is back on the field. Now, I said play more cover one and man, but scratch that out. Stop Denver's run game. Keep blitzing. But notice what I said up here. The Cowboys are going to have to get back to the zone a little bit for Bo Nix. With Cortland Sutton and that crew, Bo Nix may be able to hit some of those one-on-ones if we run it too much. I think we're going to be very selective of when and how we do it. Play physical against the Denver Broncos because they're a physical team. And again, play aggressive. Don't be afraid to blitz. Don't be afraid to get beat on some blitzes because, again, don't go out like no sucker. Go out there and go down swinging. And the way you do that is make sure you get some pressure on Bo Nix. And again, I got spy and or contain Bo Nix. Turn Bo Nix over. All right. Coming on around the mountain. What's going on, Chanel? Appreciate you. Appreciate you for sure. All right. Let's finish this up. Poobie D, I love your comments. Hey, Chanel, I've been saying this. Chanel says he does not want the Cowboys to run Javonte Williams in the ground the way they did Zeke. Yep. This is the very reason why I say they have got to let Jaden Blue get worked into the game. They have to. Why not? You don't have to take away from Javonte Williams. Jay Recruiter, you need Javonte type backs in the playoffs. Phil Maffa. Jay Recruiter, I think the Cowboys got a plan for Bill Maffa. Hey, Kevin Edwards, you don't even have to worry about it here, bro. There is no Jaden Blue bandwagon. I just think it's simple. I just hope the Cowboys continue to ramp him up because they don't need to run Jaden Blue in the ground, and the Cowboys are not going out there at the trade deadline and getting a running back. I don't believe they are. I don't believe they're going to do it. I think they like the running back room. Jaden Justin, what up? He said, is it just me, G, or does Eberflus sound like Shotty here? Yeah, he sounds different, don't he? Yeah, he sounds different, don't he? Jay Recruiter says Shotty wrote up Eberflus. Yes, sir. He sound different, don't he? Yes, sir. He sound different. Yeah. In particular, Kevin Ellis is going to be those edges. Can we stop the defense? Can we stop the defensive ends? Can Guyton still stop them? Yes, sir, Rodney Evans. Tony D was a bad boy. They had a song for Tony Dorsett. I remember that song. They said, go, Tony, go. Go, Tony, go. All right, let's see. So, Cowboys special teams game. I think this is another place where they're missing Jaden Blue. I believe the Cowboys need to put Jaden Blue and Kevontae Turpin in their kick game, especially with you using Kevontae Turpin on offense. This is another place I think they could use Jaden Blue. Get him involved in the kick return game. All right, my thoughts. My thoughts on this game and the prediction. I believe Javonte Williams is going to have a humongous day. I do. I believe Javonte Williams is going to have a big day. Unfortunately, people, and I hope I'm wrong, I believe it's going to be a shootout between the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. I think both teams are going to score 30-plus points. While I do think the Cowboys are improved, I don't know if the defense is improved enough to be able to stop what Sean Payton is going to do, because Sean Payton is a very clever play caller. I hate to say it, but he is. He's a very clever play caller, and I believe the Cowboys are going to have a problem. I think they're going to get have some success, but I think it's going to be hard to hold them below 30. I think the Broncos score 30 points. I think Jaden Blue will be more involved in this game. I don't know, but I think he will. I do think turnovers will decide the victory of this game. It is very important that the Cowboys don't commit any turnovers. One turnover in this game turns towards the Denver Broncos. It is important the Cowboys score touchdowns and not field goals. The Cowboys have got to try, and I'm just being 100% real. The Cowboys have literally got to make it their business to get to 42. If they get to 42 for sure, they're going to beat the Denver Broncos. I believe that Clowney will get a sack again. I believe, I meant to say Ezraku will get another sack. Ezraku is going to continue to improve for the Cowboys. And then, I do believe Denver's defense is going to be a problem for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's going to navigate it, but it's going to be a problem. I do believe the defense is going to be a problem for the Cowboys. And this is my score. I believe the Cowboys will beat the Denver Broncos if they just do 80% of these things right. The Cowboys are going to beat the Denver Broncos 41-38. And I think regardless if the Broncos get 38, I believe the Cowboys might hit Gran Turismo mode this week and go 42. Frederick Woods, I agree with what you said. In addition to, that's it. I love the way you said it. In addition to is the key phrase. Give Blue touches in addition to utilizing Javonte Williams in the very same way. I love the way you said that. Hey, Bass, I'm telling you, it's obvious that Jerry said something. Jerry and Shotty said something. All right, check this out. Now, Cowboys, 41-38 if they do things right. If things go haywire, they turn the Cowboys over, have Dak Prescott on the ground all day, I believe the Cowboys are going to get beat 31-24 if things don't go right. But this is where I'm staying. I believe the Cowboys are going to beat the Broncos 41-38, and I believe that Dak Prescott continues his MVP run. Y'all give me some scores before we get out of this. Give me some scores before we get out of here. Jakira, the more you keep explaining it, the more I believe when Shotty refers to big backs. I don't think he's saying Blue is not a big back. I think he was throwing reporters off for more narrative. Jakira, some people are running with the fact that he was talking about Jaden Blue. I don't think he was talking about Jaden Blue because I thought he was talking about Jaden Blue at first too. I don't think he was talking about Jaden Blue. I don't. Why would he talk about Jaden Blue? Jay Recruiter said he thinks he hates Blue. Yeah, okay, Intelligent Savage. What's going on, Intelligent Savage? Yeah, 5th round back. Yeah, Blue and Moff are projects. That is why they need another backup. I think Phil Moffa could do his thing. Just Rob said absolutely G. Yeah, he said Blue will come along. I think so too. Bass said G, last one of these bench start trade. Allen Iverson, Steph Curry, or Kyrie. What's bad? Ooh. Bench. Woo. Man, boy, you done put me in a tough spot. If it's these three, I'm going to trade Kyrie. I'm going to trade Kyrie Irving. I'm going to bench Allen Iverson because I can reserve the right to bring him off the bench. I'm going to start Steph Curry because Steph Curry changed the game. Corley's Piper said 38-16 Cowboys. Jaden Justin said must win this week. I think we play our best all-around game yet. Cowboys 31-21. I like that. Bass says Sean Payton so disrespectful and classless to say and act as he has, like, for real, G. I want Dak to beat the break off this team and send them home. Boy, me too. Boy, I want them to beat the brakes off this team. Ice Wall Cowboy, what up? He said Cowboys shocked the world 31-24. I can't stand Peyton either, brother. Man, he is so smug, bro. Uh-oh. Jakira said he run for 212. Bass said he run for 150. Yes, sir. Jakira, Cowboys 40-36. Yeah, I got him 41-38. Poobie D, Javante 120 on the ground. Blue 72 yards on the ground. Oh, that would be incredible, man. Poobie D. Let me read your comments. First, let me read Corliss Piper. He said Jaden Blue, change of pace. Poobie D, three great comments. He said, it's not hard. Just give him carries. Poobie D, screens, misdirections, sweeps, drop plays, give Blue the ball. There it is, Poobie D. Straight facts, bro. Straight facts. Last win in Denver, December the 6th, 1992. I thought they got a win in 1995. Let me make sure here. Let's see. Last time Cowboys beat the Denver Broncos. Boy, you are right. I thought it was 1995. It's been 33 years. God. August 13th, Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That says 2022. Am I going crazy? I thought we hadn't beat them since 95. Yeah, it's 1995, I thought. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Denver Broncos 31-21 on September the 10th, 1995. That previous score, I think that 2022 may be a preseason game. From what my understanding is, the last time they beat them is 1995. But wait a minute. Yeah, it says September the 10th. Yeah, okay. Cowboys beat them December the 6th, 1992. Cowboys beat them September the 10th, 1995. So those are the last two times they beat them. Yeah, so that's both of them in actuality. So we're both right in a sense. Cowboys beat them December 6, 1992. Then they beat them September 10th, 1995. That's the last time they beat them, though, was September 10th, 1995. Yeah, I think the Cowboys going to win this one. I do. Jakira said it when Surtain on Pickens. Pickens is going to purposely draw 3 pass interferences. Straight facts. Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, I tell you what, Calvin Jefferson, we winning. Hey, I've been against this in the past, but I do think if the Cowboys win the toss, I think they need to defer. I would rather see them get the ball in the second half first. Corley said, gee, once Blue get a fair chance, then all people who don't want Blue will be singing his praises. Watch what I tell you, Corliss. Because it ain't that serious to me. Corliss, if the Cowboys give him his opportunity and he don't do well, move. Okay, you on to the next running back. Now you know you need a running back. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna throw Blue in the trash until I know what he is. These same people were screaming for Deuce Vaughn. Poobie D says he believes the score will be 37-30. Everybody who wants to get it, you know what? We're gonna give away a Cowboys t-shirt for this game. Send your score to my email at letstalkcowboys@gmail.com. Whoever gets the score right will get a t-shirt. Hopefully it's not 100 of y'all get the score right. The regulator said I got 31-17. And let me say this. If 100 of y'all get the score right, the first 5 people I get in my email who get it right, 5 of y'all will get a t-shirt. How about that? How about that? So y'all send those scores to let's talk Cowboys@gmail.com. All right. Bam Bam Gaines, 34-28, them boys. Cowboys for life, 37-35, them boys. Yeah, September 10th, Shakira. That's what I was just looking at, 1995. That's what I thought I saw earlier. All right. Y'all send those scores to my email. I believe the Cowboys are going to win this game. It is going to be an exciting game. Bam Bam Gaines said I got it 31-28. I think Ferg and Tolbert score with Javonte scoring twice in an Aubrey field goal. Bam Bam Gaines, it sounds like you done stepped right into the future, my brother. Raven Richards, 34-21. Cowboys over the Broncos. I like it. All right. Again, send those scores to letstalkcowboys@gmail.com. And we're going to do our giveaway after the game. All right. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Best chat on YouTube. Always appreciate the conversation. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. DC4L. God bless. Peace.